Mungu nguvu yetu. Amkeni ndugu zetu, tufanye sote bidii, nasi tujitoe kwa nguvu. Nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda na tujenge taifa letu. Ndio wajibu wetu. Kenya istahili heshima, tuungane mikono pamoja kazini, kila siku tuwe na shukrani.
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome again to Africa 24. And today is yet another historical day when we bring for you the news that one Joe Biden, the president of the superpower nation, United States of America, and the 46th president of the USA has stepped down. This is indeed very, very historical. And I am joined here by my able panelist, Mr. Jeff Mburu. Jeff Mburu, can you have an opportunity to say hi to our audience?
Hi, how are you, Mr. Mzarendo? And hi to our viewers. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Join us as we discuss the changes that have happened today in the United States of America. And also, I believe we shall also be talking on the events that are happening back at home in Kenya. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. My name is Jeff Boro. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And you didn't tell us where you are, and how did you receive the news of Joe Biden stepping down?
Yes, thank you so much, Mzarendo. For our viewers, I am here in the state of Missouri, St. Louis, in a small city called Florissant. I want to say that, Mzarendo, this one was expected, though Joe Biden was adamant that he was not going to step down. But I think it was a good thing because sometimes when nature calls you to do something, you are supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. So Joe Biden was so adamant that he did not want to step down, but his political party was persuading him to step down because of majorly because of how he performed in the presidential debate. And I'm so happy that finally he decided to step down so that we may have another person to face Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is such a strong candidate who needs somebody who is very strong to face him. And I believe as they are proposing Kamala Harris, she is up to the task. And I believe because this is a woman or a lady who is very smart upstairs. Zarendo, I want to remind you that before she ventured or she entered into politics, Kamala Harris was a prosecutor, an attorney for many years.
Yes, Mburu. I want us to before we jump into Kamala Harris, I want us to talk a bit about the early days of Joe Biden. Joe Biden, as many viewers out there uh,
Yes.
don't know, that Joe Biden came into the Senate at a very young age. Maybe
Yes.
you could just tell us how old was Joe Biden when he was joining the Senate?
So Joe Biden became a senator at the age of 30 years. He was actually a Gen Z, as we are calling them today. And he served as a senator for so
Hmm.
many years, for 36 years, for Delaware. So that tells you he was a good leader as a senator. So maybe I can read some of the things about Joe Biden here for people to understand who is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the current president of the United States. He became the president of the United States in 2021, and he was the former vice president of Barack Obama. And Joe Biden became the senator of Delaware at the age of 30 years, where he served for 36 years. And many people don't know that Mzarendo,
Hmm.
Joe Biden, before 2020 campaign, he had contested for many other times before he became the president. He had tried in 1988. He also tried in 2008, and finally he became now the president in 2021. So it's only that age was not favoring him, but Joe Biden is a very experienced politician in America and a very good leader. So the only thing that was working against him was his age.
Yes, and this election is very, very tricky because the economy of America is doing very, very great. Everything is working in the favor of Democrats. But when they made a referendum on his age, then um and Americans started looking at, yes, this guy is really getting old. Is he really fit for
Yes.
office?
Mhm.
Uh, thus, getting into the narrative of the Republican Party, and the Republican Party kept on pressing that indeed Joe Biden is not fit for office. I mean, it was working very well for the Republican Party, and the
Yes.
numbers that we have seen on the polls are not really favoring the Democrat. How do you think? Do you think that they have enough time to elect a presidential candidate in the next coming convention?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. First of all, I would like to say if Joe Biden went to the ballot with Donald Trump, it was almost 100% sure that Donald Trump was going to defeat him because most Americans uh, were saying that basing on his age and the consequences that come with old age, that he was not fit to hold that office, and that could be seen on how he performed in the presidential debate. Sometimes he would even forget some of the things he wanted to say. So the Republican were going to have an upper hand. But now, Joe Biden already proposed that, or he said he is going to support Kamala Harris. And after he said that, so many Democrats have come to back Kamala Harris, though they have to go through their party processes to nominate her. And so Kamala Harris is already someone who is popular. Not that she's starting from square one, not that she's starting the campaign from nowhere. Already people know who she is. She has also been in the limelight in America. She has been a prosecutor for many, many, many years. Actually an attorney general of California. And as a prosecutor, it will be very interesting, Mr. Mzalendo. This is a prosecutor, a high-ranking prosecutor who is going to face someone who is already indicted as a criminal. So a prosecutor and a criminal. I'm really waiting to see the next presidential debate, how it's going to be. Kamala Harris is ranked as one of the most educated people in America, very smart intellectually, very respected. And you know, I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't know whether the race will play a role in determining how people are going to vote, because originally the father of Kamala Harris came from Jamaica, and the mother is from India. So all, of course, we expect that also that will favor or to some extent, because all the people of color, as they call them, they are going to vote for her. The black and other people are going to vote for her. And also remember, there are those whites who don't care about race and everything. All what they care is about the political party. So they are also going to support her. The other aspect that will determine whether she's going to win or not is the person she's going to nominate as her running mate for the vice president. So we are waiting to see so many things happening. And I can tell you for sure she is in a better position to face Donald Trump and probably bring him down.
Yeah, I feel that the factors in this race are very, very interesting,
Yes.
Mr. Mburu. The factors that are on this race, it's one of the most interesting races in American history, because one, Biden has just stepped down. He did it the last minute. Republicans are having very, very good numbers. It is no longer about issues based, although they are
Yes.
pretending it's about issue. Because if it was about issue, then Biden has really performed better than any other American presidents
Yes.
in recent time.
Mhm.
So they made that referendum on his age, and the old man had to step down. Remember, um, Donald Trump is not your usual candidate.
True.
He ran against Hillary Clinton, and you remember what he did to Hillary Clinton, and it really
Yes. Yes.
fizzled out. And people like Elizabeth Warren, which
Mhm.
I thought was very, very tough until Donald Trump started
Mhm.
attacking their personality. So
Mhm.
Kamala is coming into this race as a former prosecutor, very, very educated,
Mhm.
and of course she has learned from the very best,
Mhm.
Joe Biden, somebody who's very, very experienced,
Mhm.
and he is running against somebody who has been convicted of 34 counts of felony.
You can
So,
imagine that four
so
count.
so we want to see how these elections will be. Here in Africa, we'll be monitoring the situation of American elections in November. Viewers, if you're joining us for the first time, this is Africa 24. If you have not subscribed on this particular channel, make sure you do subscribe on this particular channel. Today, we are touching a bit of American politics. And Mburu has taken us through the early days of Joe Biden's political journey, began in the corridors of Delaware, where he served as a county council member. I remember Joe Biden first was a county council member in Delaware. In his early years in politics, were characterized by deep connection to his constituents, and Mburu, maybe the humility of Joe Biden, some of our leaders in Africa can borrow one or two things. Joe Biden, while he was a senator, used the train all the time. For all those years that he was a senator, he used the train back and forth from DC to Delaware. And that kind of humility, you would stand on the train back home. So this man, I read I saw the tribute of Barack Obama, who first endorsed him as the VP. Uh, he has gone through a lot also in his life and his
Yes.
career. Yeah, if you know any of his stories throughout his life, the tragedy and resilience of Joe Biden. Yeah, despite facing personal tragedy with the loss of his wife and daughter in a car accident just weeks after his Senate election,
Yeah.
imagine Joe Biden was sworn at the bedside in an hospital with his children. Yeah, he lost the daughter and he was thrown in, and he was very reluctant. He actually didn't want to become a senator at that time following the tragedy. Legislative achievements of Joe Biden. Biden, 36 years tenure as a senator was marked with significant legislative accomplishment, including his leading role in addressing domestic and international challenges such as writing the law, writing the Violence Against Women Act. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are some of his achievements. He played a pivotal role in shaping U.S. foreign policy, particularly in relation to Africa. So that is why we are featuring him a lot here on Africa, because some of the policies that Joe Biden initiated while in the Senate championed, such as issues of democracy and human rights in Africa and economic development across the continents of Africa. Those are some of the policies that Joe Biden really pushed on. As the vice president of President Barack Obama, Biden uh, secured. You remember this affordable
Mm-hmm.
uh, act, yeah, and Obama was running on an economic recovery plan. So this team, they managed to work together so well. They gelled so well, and many Americans could now afford health care courtesy of Biden and Barack Obama when
Mm-hmm.
was the president. And some of those are some of the issues that the Republicans would want to reverse. They want to
Mm-hmm.
the social security and that Americans have enjoyed for a very long time. So, how do you see these elections playing before we jump into one Kamala Harris?
So, number one, I want to say that Biden has always been someone who has not been suffering from racism, or he doesn't care much whether people are black or brown. And that has been his stance. And because of that, he has been receiving a lot of support across the nation of America. And you remember, he is the first president who appointed a black person in the Supreme Court, and that was a plus for him. And he received a lot of support from people because of that. And that credit will also go to the person right now. He is supporting Kamala Harris. So Joe Biden has performed in an extraordinary way in how he has been performing his duties. And I want to believe that his track record, because it is very good, it is also going to give more support to Kamala Harris. And I want to say that Mzarendo, I am waiting to see the things that Donald Trump will be saying against Kamala Harris, because he is used to attacking people's characters and looking for the past mistakes and character assassination. But here we have a woman whom for the last 4 years people have nothing to say against her. If there is anything I haven't heard where she has broken any law for the last 4 years, she has worked with a lot of care. Here is a woman who has a very clean track record. Unlike the Hillary Clinton, who was carrying the baggage of the husband. And so we are waiting to hear what Donald Trump is going to say about Kamala Harris. But remember, Donald Trump, this time around, he is doing everything possible to make sure that he wins this election, because if he does not, he is heading to jail, and he is aware of that. So he is going to do everything possible within his power to make sure he becomes the president, because he is aware of what is waiting for him if he does not. And here he is facing the prosecutor, who keep on reminding him, remember that you are heading to jail. We are going to prosecute you. And apart from that, this is also not an ordinary candidate. Kamala Harris is not just an ordinary candidate. She has a very strong personality, and whatever she wants to say, she must say it. And also, she is facing an extraordinary candidate. So everybody is waiting to see what will happen from here going on. But before I conclude, maybe I wanted to read something, a small article here, just to remind people about Donald Trump. Just few pages, and this is what it's saying: that for the first time in 234 years, that for the first time in 234 years of the nation's history, that is the nation of America, no American president or former president had ever been indicted. That changed in 2023. Over a 5-month span, former President Donald Trump was charged in 4 criminal cases. Together, the indictments accused him of wide-ranging criminal conduct before, during, and after his presidency. One of those indictments has now led to the first criminal conviction of former president. The other 3 remain pending. I'm not going to read the whole of it. So this is the first president to be indicted in America in 234 years. So it is not something that is very, very small. So we want to see also how Americans are going to vote this time around. I've been following the campaigns, and I can tell you for sure also Donald Trump is having a very strong support. So we are waiting to see what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the week, he survived an assassination attempt, and thank God that the young boy did not manage to kill the president. It was such an unfortunate tragedy in
Yes.
American history. Now,
Mhm.
this is the question of a 20-year-old being able to get a rifle, a gun, load it, and from what you have seen in the media, he actually had a drone to survey that particular area before the shooting. He surveyed with a drone.
Wow.
He mounted that gun before the event. He had already
Mm.
mounted almost everything. Now, here in this country, if you want to buy liquor, you have to be 21 years old to buy alcohol. But if you want to buy a gun, you only need to be how old? As you only need an ID to go and buy a
Mm,
gun. Yeah.
mm.
So that is how these laws, and Republican Party are the ones who have been championing for gun rights. So this is a 20-year-old, very, very calm, cool, collected kid, according to the teachers. And nobody actually thought that he would perform this kind of act. And remember, he's also a registered Republican member. His parents are staunch Republican members. Now, suppose I was just asking myself loudly, suppose it was a black who tried to assassinate Donald Trump. That would have been a tragedy. That would have been in the news throughout. So, but it was an unfortunate event. I hope that these elections will bring the country together, even after November elections. America will be one nation where people like each other and not look at each other on those racial lenses. So it is important that people understand that America is going to elections in November. They are going to elect the president this November. The polls are favoring the Republican Party, but with the nomination of Kamala Harris, we hope that there will be a surge in the polls. So good luck to Democrats and same to Republicans. We wish you all the best. Let us have free and fair elections, and of course, no violence
Um,
during this time. Yes, yes,
yes. First of all, I want to say that the event which happened with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump was very unfortunate. And also, it exposed America as it is not what they have been claiming to be. Because Donald Trump is one of the most protected people in the world. And I believe, if not the first, actually the second most protected people in the world, with all the special forces uh, around him, with all the technology. So I'm still wondering how this young boy was able to outwit all his security details and even mount that rifle there and be in a position to shoot. He just missed just a little bit. You can imagine if somebody has managed to shoot the ear, he was going to shoot the head.
you know how it happened. Why?
Right now,
Do you know why he caught the ear?
yes,
Because
he turned.
no, he was reading from the teleprompter.
Mhm.
So he was trying to emphasize a point on the teleprompter
Yeah,
like this.
he turned a
That
little
is
bit.
when he turned a little. Oh my God. The gods are with Donald Trump. The gods are with the
So
president.
right now we'll be discussing about the death of Donald Trump. I don't know
Really.
how that would have been, because he has this kind of staunch supporters.
It's called
Uh,
fanatical following.
yeah,
Fanatical following.
exactly. People who
Mm.
are willing to do anything for Donald Trump. And I don't know how it would have turned out to be. However, I want to say that this could also be a wake-up call for Donald Trump, that he has been supporting people to continue owning guns, everybody to have a gun. And that has been the start of the Republican. It could be a communication to him that is the high time. In the event that you become the president, do something about these guns. I just checked an article whereby they are saying in 2021 alone, America lost 45,000 people out of gun violence. On average, every year, America loses 30,000 people through the gun. You can imagine, that's an entire village. So this country is chaotic when it comes to guns. almost everybody can access a gun. Here, you just have a road rage, and in the next minute, somebody has been shot. You just have a slight confrontation with someone, that person just removes the gun and shoots you. That's the kind of the country we are living in, such that you can't even, that's why we fear each other. You don't even want to go near the door of your neighbor, even if there is something you want to tell him, because you don't know how that person is going to react to you. So people in America live in fear. There was a time, Mzarendo, I stopped my car somewhere, and I saw some people were seated on the corridor. And I said, let me go and ask them for direction, because the GPS was confusing me, and I knew I was supposed to deliver a load somewhere there. So I said, let me go and talk to them. It was around 5, 6 there. And the first thing, when they saw me heading to their direction, on their to their direction, the first thing they did was to remove a gun. And now wait, what was going to happen? They were afraid of me, and now they were willing to shoot. You know, that is the kind of a country we are living in. So America, having lived here now for quite a number of years, I can tell you Africa is more safe than America. Even the president right now is not safe. And I believe now Trump knows that what he has been supporting and what he has been agitating for, it is likely to bring him down. The fact that this young man managed to shoot the ear, it can also send the message for those other people who hate him that it is possible to bring him down. So they need to think about the gun laws. They need to tighten them so that we can live in a safe place. America is not safe at all, at all, at all. And Mzalendo, this act, or this attempted assassination, it will also give Donald Trump what we call the sympathy votes. You have seen his supporters right now; all of them are putting bandage on the ear to signify.
Even him, that bandage is, nurses were telling me that bandage is so big. There is a way you can put a smaller bandage, or it doesn't even
Yes,
need a
they had to
bandage.
put a very big one. Trump now, even when he gets healed, he will not remove it to remind the people, remember, they wanted to kill me so that I don't become your president. And his supporters will continue. So it will be a political symbol that we have to vote for Donald Trump to protect him from those who don't want him to be in this world. So it is also, it might also work against the Democrats, whether and I believe this boy, nobody had sent him to do that. In this country, we
Yeah,
have,
they have been trying to
yeah,
really investigate. They are trying to find any connection, why he did that.
yeah.
There is nothing. He was a smart kid, and he succeeded. I think he just wanted to be a hero, whether he was going to be
Oh,
killed
yeah.
or not. If he had succeeded, he would be going in jail, and just as an American, he would. I mean, publicity. Some of
And,
them it's just about
and
publicity. Hmm?
do you know the police officer who shot the boy? I hear that he was fired from work because he was given the instruction not to fire, not to shoot. Yeah,
Really?
that's what I heard. Hmm. That he was fired. They didn't want the boy to be shot. Maybe they wanted him to be arrested without shooting. So he asked the boss whether he should shoot the boy. He was told no, but he went ahead. And now I heard that they fired the officer.
Anyway, you were asking, that's quite unfortunate. You're asking about whether Trump will attack Kamala Harris. He has already attacked Kamala this evening. He,
Mhm.
he said that lady who laughs like a mad woman. She, she's, she's not normal. Trump has already said that she's not very
Mhm.
normal. So Trump has got always a way of putting people down in his own words, and his supporters love that so much. Anyway, I think we've done
And
much of.
also,
Mhm.
Zarendo,
Mm.
America does not have a history of voting for women.
That is the
So
danger.
this
That's the
one,
danger.
as much as they show that they support women, they have so many laws protecting women, but when it comes to the presidential race, they don't have a history of supporting women. So we are still waiting to see how they're
Mhm.
gonna conduct themselves this time around. But it's like they prefer male than men in the race.
Yes, I saw that with Hillary Clinton, and now maybe Kamala Harris will get the endorsement from the delegates in the Congress, so that the delegates in the convention, so that she becomes the candidate, or they'll get another candidate. But I'm looking at who is likely to be Kamala Harris' running mate. Eventually,
For me, it's
hmm?
only that she's the vice president, and not giving her the nomination, it will look like they have it's demeaning to her.
Yeah, it's
But
demeaning.
I would have preferred in the Democratic Party they do their nominations, then they get the strongest candidate who is likely to face Donald Trump. I'm not trying to say she is not strong, but also you saw Hillary Clinton was very strong politically, but the gender aspect brought her down. So I don't know whether Kamala Harris will be the first one to break that ceiling. So
Hmm.
we have to wait and see.
If it's called the mayor for New York, what was his name? Como.
Mhm.
Was it the one that was removed as mayor for New
That
York?
was a governor.
Oh,
The
governor. Yeah,
Mhm.
governor. That governor would have been a good match for Trump. That governor would have been a good match for Trump. But unfortunately, he was removed. Uh,
Was it what was I
he had
remember
he
it.
had, he had some scandals on COVID, and he was removed because so many people died under his
Mm,
watch when COVID
mm,
really hit. People who are not supposed to be on the shelters. I don't know whether it was uh, overcrowded or some kind of negligence. That is the
mm.
reason why
I
Como
remember I remember him. He was a
and
very strong governor
yeah,
and very outspoken.
and very outspoken. So Trump needed
Mhm.
somebody who is outspoken, and a New Yorker, they would really take on each other because he knew Trump in and out. They always used to get at each other's neck. So that would have been a very good candidate. So if he can come as a running mate, then would have been a plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we have to wait and see who is going to be the running mate. They need to get a very strong candidate for running mate. And remember, they had proposed that Democrats should have the former First Lady uh, Michelle Obama as the candidate, and
Michelle
but I
refused.
hear she refused. I
She
don't know. Do
refused.
you think she would have performed better than Harris?
I don't know. She comes with the Obama tag, and there are people who don't like Obama also. She comes with that Obama tag. There's some people, each and every time Trump will be reminding his support base that, you know, if you elect Michelle, you are bringing in Obama. You know,
But
you,
equally, there are people who liked Obama so much.
Yeah, equally there are people who like to Obama are Democrats. They are Democrats, and Obama and Michelle, they're two different personalities. Two
Mhm.
different personalities. Oh, Michelle has got the courage. He has got the zeal, the
Charisma.
fight.
She's also very smart.
She's also very, very, very smart, but she's also very outspoken. So
Mhm.
the idea, the idea of okay, Matthew Lucas Jr. is saying, "My guys, I got an idea for you. Hillary Clinton as the first ever female president to win the election. Let's go." No, 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 no. That didn't happen. Lucas, that didn't happen. Hillary didn't win any elections. So we are hoping that one Kamala Harris would be the first woman president
And
of
and
the.
you remember she is the first female vice president and the highest ranking female official in the US. So she broke the first ceiling. So we have to wait to see if she will still become the first president of the United States of America. So you can see that history of America. They had never, for all those years, for all those
All
200,
those presidents, 200 years, they have never elected a woman president.
240 something years, they have never even elected a woman as a vice president. Kamala Harris was the first one. So
Democrats,
they still have, mm,
Democrats always make a difference. They want to make
yes,
the society look
equal.
balanced,
Yes,
equal.
yes.
So I think that was a plus for Biden. Biden
Mhm.
did things which were very extraordinary. Yeah, during his tenure, electing the first black
What do you think about the
nominee.
aspect? In Africa, we suffer from tribalism. In America, though they pretend they are not suffering from anything, they suffer from racism, which we have seen it play a role even at the workplace, how people address each other, how people look down upon one another. Uh, they suffer a lot from racism, and it's like something that is passed from one generation to another. And how do you think this will affect Kamala Harris, basing on the fact that the parents were not from United States of America? I remember during the time of Barack Obama, they tried even to say that Obama was not an American because he had his parents were from outside America. So, do you think that would work against Harris?
Yeah, they'll still dig deep into Harris and say that she's an Indian. Yeah, she's an Indian. They will want to look at her birth certificate once again, whether she was really born in America. Because this election, the talking points of Republicans, what they have in their blueprint is race, immigration.
Hmm.
They're talking about immigration, is race. And here is a candidate who is bilingual,
Hmm.
multiracial, coming from two different races,
From
Indian
Africa and India,
yeah, India and Africa, uh,
Jamaican.
and
I
Jamaica.
think, basing on how we perceive the child, I think she's more of an African than an Indian because the father came from Africa. What do you think? Or people don't
Mm,
consider? Where do people
yeah,
consider? People think they.
you know, Kamala Harris was born. She's
Where was? Mhm.
the mom I think is Indian. No, the mom no. Kamala Harris was born in 1964. Yeah,
Yes.
and became the first female vice president, the highest ranking. Yes, the first African American, first Asian American vice president, Asian American vice president.
Yeah.
Uh,
The father is a Jamaican. The mother is
yes,
an Indian.
yeah, the mother is
Yeah,
Indian.
to say literally, basing on how people perceive, do you think she is more of an African or more of an Indian? She was born here. She's an
No,
American. She's American, yes.
if we look
No
at
doubt about it.
we Africans, the way we look
Mhm.
at things is that you are in America. So long as you are born in this country, you are an
Yes.
American. That is the
Yes,
most
she
important
is.
part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
You are American by birth. But now they go further to look at who are your parents? Are they really Americans? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that now brings the racial connotations that the Eden talk that they talk about. So those ones will always be there. They
She'll be
brought.
the first Jamaican to become the president of America. The Jamaican will be so happy, just like we were saying. We were so proud. We were so
Mhm.
proud of Barack Obama, and we were associating ourselves with Barack Obama, and we were saying he is the first Kenyan to become the president of America. And
Mm.
he didn't deny that. He even said the same when he came to Kenya. Uh, so by the fact that the parents or the father came from Kenya, he was identifying more with Kenya. So I don't know about Kamala Harris. We are yet to yeah.
Our greatest strength is the fight for women, women
Yes.
right, the rights for abortion and the things that the Democrats stand for,
Mm.
the rights for the woman to decide when to keep the child. And this is what Kamala Harris has been really, really fighting for. So they will bring that in the discussion, in the debate. I am sure. I can't wait to watch the debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
That's what I'm
That will
also
be the
waiting for.
that will be
Actually,
the
the
mother of
debate
all.
between Biden and Trump, I tried not to watch because I was expecting some kind of embarrassment. For me, I was supporting Biden, but
Mhm.
I was not expecting him to perform very well because the age factor was working against him.
And
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 it's
and you know what?
Mhm.
For me, I think it's so unfortunate. This guy has run the best economy. He has done almost everything that American people wanted. There are more jobs for the American people, and
Yes.
they put his age as a factor. His economy is doing much, much better than the Trump's economy. Is doing much, much better than what Barack Obama had, even Clinton.
And also
But
internationally, he had so many challenges which he was handling very well. This guy is so experienced. You have seen how he has been handling the Ukraine war with Russia. I don't know how Donald Trump would have handled that.
oh my God, Donald Trump will land
Mm.
over Russia, will land over Ukraine to Russia. I am telling you,
Mhm.
he will not support
Yeah,
that president. I
Ukraine.
don't think so. He will
He
not support.
doesn't like like now he was saying that Biden has given 200 billion to Ukraine, and he was saying that is a lot of money he is giving. The money that belongs to Americans, he has given it out to Ukraine, and he was saying that every time Zelensky comes here, he goes back with $60 billion, and Biden had nothing to say. But I think Biden
Mm.
had tried very much to make sure that Ukraine is not taken by Russia. And there is high expectation because I even listened to Zelensky. He was asking, we want to hear from Donald Trump. What are we expecting when if he becomes the president? Is he going to support us in this war, or are we expecting him to withdraw the support that we are receiving from America? So, and from his statements, I think Ukraine will be in a very awkward situation if Trump becomes the president of
Yeah,
America.
Yeah, that is very, very true. He's not going to give them money. That one is out. Maybe you
Mhm.
look for other ways, diplomatic ways of ending the war, which I don't see coming very, very soon. What Biden says is that, if Russia takes Ukraine, then it will move to the next territory and the next one. Uh, that that and the world will be in a crisis.
But
So, hmm,
Mzalendo, there is still something I don't understand.
hmm,
All these sufferings that Ukraine has undergone through, it is because of the intention of wanting to join NATO. Now, do you think NATO has done enough to protect a friend who wanted to be part of them?
that you see, NATO is look. There is a balance trying to be. There's a balance here. There is Russia and its allies, and
Yes.
there is NATO and its allies, and they are trying to avoid a war because ideally America would have taken its troops to stop Russia from invading into Ukraine. NATO would have taken its troops, soldiers, to stop Putin from invading Ukraine territory. Why they have not done that, I think they are avoiding maybe a crisis, a world war, because China would come in, that crazy guy in North Korea would come in and to support Russia. Russia has formed a lot of allies who are going to support them. India, the countries like that would come to support Russia. So they're avoiding this kind of conflict that will spiral into something
You
very big.
see, mm,
American enemies like the Middle East will come, and Iran and all that will come into to support Russia in case NATO invades Russia.
and okay, I heard that, or I read somewhere that they are intending to have a kind of negotiation to finish the war. And the conditions that Russia has given is that one, Ukraine has to agree that they will not join NATO, or they will never join NATO. They have to sign that agreement. They will never join NATO. And number two, that they will have to give up all the territories that Russia has captured. Right now, Russia has captured almost, if not half, or but a quarter of Ukraine, and they have occupied, or the troops have occupied part of Ukraine. And they are saying, for us to finish or to end this war, all these territories we have occupied, they will belong to Russia. I don't know. What do you think about that?
You see, initially, this was former USSR.
Yes.
Uh, Ukraine were these are the countries that broke out from Russia. Yeah, and there is this capital. There is this place they call Cave that Russia claims that that is their ancestral land, and it's within Ukraine. That is what they want again. Uh, so why the war? Why is that war persisting
Mhm.
so much? It's because there are some Ukrainians who right now feel that they belong to Russia. You can
Mm.
imagine. So Zelensky is in a crisis because there are some of his countrymen who also want to be part of Russia, and they don't understand why Ukraine is defending itself against their own countrymen. Mm? And remember, in these households in Ukraine, there are people. They are from. You are either married to somebody from Ukraine. The wife is
Yes.
Ukrainian, and the husband is Russian,
And they speak the same language to
and
a
they
large
speak the
extent. Most of the
same.
people,
Yeah, and
they
they
share
speak
the
the.
same language.
Yes,
Mm.
that's what I think. Unless you have another opinion.
No, I think you are right. You are. But now my biggest worry is now. with the change of the president of US, I don't know. Biden has really tried to support Ukraine at whatever cost, and Russia has incurred great loss by trying to fight with Ukraine, because they were not fighting with Ukraine; they were fighting with US, but US was hiding behind Ukraine. Most of the equipment, the war machines that entered Ukraine, all of them were destroyed using the US weapons. So I am still wondering whether Kamala Harris will have the same heart of war, because many people think that Biden is this quiet, humble guy, but I have come to see him as a man of war. He does not know how to back down, and I'm still wondering whether Kamala Harris will have the same spirit of fighting with Russia, and also defending Israel, because these are allies of America. So I don't know how it's gonna be. We are still waiting to see. And also, we want to see if President Trump becomes the president, whether he'll be in a position to protect Ukraine, whether he'll still be in a position to protect Israel, like Biden was doing. So there are so many things that people are waiting to see through the changes that are coming in America.
Yeah, the war in Ukraine is a very complex situation, uh, both historically, geographically, where they are situated, and what they are fighting for. What Russia is really claiming is some historical, some things that they can't even substantiate. They really wanted to capture Kiev, which they did at some point, and then they withdrew.
Yes.
So we are waiting to see what really happens, because Putin's anger is Ukraine is leaning towards more of Americans and the Germans. So that is his hunger. So he's very, very
And,
angry with that.
and I also hear, I don't know whether you have ever done that research. Sorry, there are so many messages coming in my phone, and I'm trying to switch it off. And I heard that most of the people who occupy Ukraine are Israelites. I don't know how true is that. They
Hmm.
even say that Zelensky is also a Jew from Israel. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that? That most of the people who occupy that part, or who occupy Ukraine, are from Israel. I don't know whether you have ever heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of claim by Putin. They are saying they are neo Nazis in Ukraine and things like that. So he has got all these claims that are the reasons why he's invading that particular territory. But more so, what I understand is just selfishness. Is just
Mhm,
Putin is just a bully. He's just bullying these other people, and he really wants that territory. There is nothing like he wants Ukraine to withdraw from NATO,
mhm,
uh, and the things that he's claiming. There is
mhm,
an ideological difference between Zelensky and Putin. That is what is bothering Putin, and he thinks that with Ukraine getting more access to NATO and the Americans, that is a threat to the Russian military and intelligence. So that is another angle
mhm.
that they are looking at it. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and maybe tomorrow, or we can discuss, because we had Kenya is becoming or has become a non-NATO ally. You need to tell our viewers, what does that mean? What are
Mm.
the advantages and the disadvantages of becoming non-NATO allies? Does it mean that Kenya would be protected by NATO in case of war? Or we need to know whether it has that defensive pact, or what does it mean? What are the advantages of joining NATO? Or what does it mean to be a non-NATO ally, and what is NATO allies? Because it is somehow ambiguous.
Yeah, just maybe just an overview from what I've read somewhere is that, I'd read that when you are a NATO ally, you get access to military equipment, sophisticated military equipment,
Mhm,
and training of your soldiers in the U.S. That is one of the benefits and
mhm,
the privileges that you get when you become a NATO ally. So those are some of the things that Kenya will
mhm,
get: training of our military, getting the latest equipment, fighting equipment from the US or the other allies. So Kenya becomes strategically very, very important. And
mhm,
each and every time when there's a peacekeeping mission, then their soldiers are well equipped and trained. They are given priority
mhm.
to be part of the mission. Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah.
Does that mean also that, yes, we're going to have some benefits of receiving the equipment, of receiving the military training, but also we are likely to increase more enemies, especially from those countries that don't have good relationship with America?
Yeah, it simply means that now Kenya will get more security surveillance from the Americans. They will get more attention, more strategic cooperation when it comes to any kind of development that or infrastructure security that they might need in order to protect its borders. Because mostly American allies tend to be a soft target by
Yes.
by the enemies of the United States, and Kenya has now opened itself as a target. So that is why there is that cooperation by the security team from the US and NATO allies to
Mhm.
protect each other from their common enemy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So we are likely to have kind of strained relationships with some countries, because I don't know whether that will affect how we relate with other countries in terms of aid and trade and all that. After becoming non-NATO ally, I don't know how, maybe if Kenya had intention of working with Russia, how Russia perceives that with other countries, so especially in the Middle East. So
I think working with Russia is a bit difficult because first there is the language barrier. That is one thing that you have to know. So, working with these countries is not very, very easy. When you see Kenya working with Chinese, when you see a Chinese coming to Kenya, most of the time they are baptized with different names. They drop their Chinese names, they start calling themselves Andrew, Tom, names that you'll be familiar with, and they have to learn the language so that you can communicate well. If you have not dealt with Chinese, that's how they call themselves. You meet a Chinese, it's called Andrew, as for you to get to know each other. So language is also another barrier when it comes to corporations. So you
yeah,
will,
but nowadays, Mzalendo, there are devices. The devices you just need to put on the ear. When I speak in English, it will interpret for you in Russia,
yeah,
Chinese, or whichever language.
you see that kind of communication does not. If
Yeah,
you are
sometimes it's not very easy. I've met people at the workplace.
Yeah, yes, and you see. it doesn't bring that mutual understanding when we are communicating. If you see the way we are communicating in English right
Yes.
now, we are communicating in a language that we are all familiar with. uh, if we were from a different country, not able to speak my language, I would be going through Google Translator to know what you are talking about. Although we will be communicating, but a few times or many times, I'll avoid talking to you each and every time because we can't communicate, or we will always be communicating with arranged gadgets that we have to bring along, or a translator that we have to bring along. So some of these countries, yes, language, there is technology, but again, it is also a barrier to other things. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Mm. Yeah. So now we have talked a lot about international politics and international news, what is happening around the world.
Mm,
Maybe it is time now we take a small break, then we come back to our country, uh,
yes.
Kenya. But before I take a break, I want to acknowledge the people on the comment section. Gypsy Corner, good morning. Here it is 3 a.m. in the morning here in Virginia. Uh, Thank you for being there. And of course, Matthew Lucas Jr., Asante Sana, thank you so much for being part of Africa each and every time. When you log in, tell your friends that there is Africa 24 where you can come and tell your story. Remember, Africa unlocks the African stories. If you want any information, there we have our contacts, freaqd 24 hours at gmail.com. And of course, there's a phone number there. Just shoot an email. We will be able to get in touch. Tell us how our programming is, what you'd like us to cover. And of course, we will cover your story. If you have got something very, very interesting, we would also want to share your story with the rest of the world, because here we unlock the African story. When we come back, we'll be talking about Kenyan politics and
Maybe,
how.
Mr. Rendo, you can read the last three comments of Jeep's Corner.
Yeah, I can give you the privilege to read that the last three
Yeah,
comments.
I see he has concern with Kenya becoming a non-NATO ally, and he is saying none just means to be used. And down there, he's saying Kenya has been training already with Americans, British, Israel, etc. All we get in return, Kenyan forces get sent to war zones where US and UK don't want to send their troops. Kenya has been brought in as a non-NATO so that they can handle the Al-Qaeda and the terrorists. What do you think about that? That's a concern from
I,
a Kenyan.
yeah, Gypsy Corner. I think if you read the what is happening in Haiti right now, Haitians are very happy with the Kenyan troops. The locals are very, very impressed with what they have done so far.
Mm.
So as much as we want to be selfish with our own equipment, and we don't want to help other people, uh, this world requires you to assist your neighbor when they are in problem. And remember, the police force motto is utumishi kwa wote bila kubagua. So that is what is happening in our country. And just to take you back, even when we were having the post election violence, it is the world that came to our rescue. The United Nations is what came to our rescue. Countries like Somalia, they've been at war. And it is the other world, the US, they lost their soldiers during that time. And I remember Operation Desert Storm in Somalia. American soldiers died, so many of them, but the whole idea was to bring peace to the Somali people. So sometimes
And
you can.
yes.
Yes,
And,
go
and
ahead.
so and so far, maybe to give an update to our viewers, our Kenya police or Kenya forces in Somalia, because I was telling people, people think that they sent the ordinary police officers, and I was telling them, I don't think so. Those are specialized units that have been sent to Somalia, either GSU or the anti-terror units, and so far they are doing very well. The first confrontation with the Haiti gang was in one of the largest hospitals in Haiti, and Kenya forces were able to recapture the hospital. Now is under the government of Haiti. And just last week they captured the one of the largest ports. So they are doing they are performing very well. They are doing very well in bringing peace in that country, and that is making Kenya very proud. And also globally, we are being positioned at a very high position, which I think is a good thing.
I think before we jump into the next topic, maybe Mburu, you can answer Gypsy Corner. What has happened to Africa? Not very consistent. Mburu, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, that's a good concern. And we are going to work on that. We are going to work on that. We have to take the challenge. But our normal shows, you continue running on the normal hours. Maybe it's because right now it is not very usual to find us in the studio. That's why maybe he is concerned. But we just decided to come and have a discussion. We will have the other show still during the day. And we will continue to be more consistent. We will continue to be more organized, and we accept the challenge because you are one of our valued supporters of Africa 24.
Yeah, Gypsy Corner. I think we are addressing that you are concerned. I know what you are talking about. The 10 p.m. show. We are working very hard to have it on time. We will make sure that our listeners and viewers are well informed. It is just in case we don't have that particular show that evening, but we are working hard so that we don't miss any show any day. Yeah. So pole sana if you missed your favorite show, maybe yesterday or the day before yesterday. We are really working very hard to sort out the problem. And now we jump into Kenyan politics, but let us just take a small, slight break. Then we see what is happening on the other side. Yes, we are back, and we are back with Kenyan politics. Well, Kenyan politics is comedy. I don't know what what to term it. Unakumbuka zile chakula ulikuwa Wakikuyu ndio wanazipenda, unaweka maharagwe ndani, mbosho ndani, nyama ndani,
Na
sijui
waru
nini,
na
waru
cabbage
ndani na cabbage, yani
na maji.
siasa ya Kenya na maji, alafu unakunywa hiyo supu. Siasa ya Kenya
Maji ngoja.
inaitwaje hiyo chakula Mburu bana? Inaitwaje hiyo chakula? I've
Ah,
seen
miss, hainaga jina lakini
I've seen Nigerians also doing something like that. Hao wanaweka mpaka samaki ndani, samaki mpaka ngozi ya ng'ombe
eh,
ndani alafu nakula.
eh,
I mean, this is very bad. Kenyan politics has become something else. There is greed inside the politics. Politicians are taking advantage of each other, and they when William Ruto was presented with the best opportunity to sort out things, I thought that he was going to sort out the problems between the government and the Gen Zs. He has uh, he has said today that he's not going to cede anymore with the faceless, tribeless Gen
Mhm.
Z leaderless movement. But
Yes.
my question to William Ruto, when you say that, what do you really mean? Because
Mhm.
everything that the Gen Zs are doing are within the constitution of Kenya. If it is a matter of picketing, they are doing it within the law. Just
Mhm.
like the doctors were striking and then they got their pay. So the Gen Zs are also striking so that we have some reforms in government, and they want to see some kind of development. William Ruto had got the best opportunity to turn things around when he had the meeting with the Gen Zs and he dissolved the cabinet. Then he went and made some changes. We hoped that personally, I hoped that he was going to call his political supporters and tell them, this is it, guys. We need to now act. And the action is we want to select a cabinet that is acceptable to the people of Kenya and a cabinet that will work for the UDA, the Kenya Kwanza government, and its agenda, but it is not the people who are elected. So somehow he brought in the same people, and that was not part of the agenda.
Maybe maybe we can go through the list
Yes,
of the people he brought in. Some of them I didn't even know who
yes,
were in the former cabinet. I didn't know
mm,
most of them. Maybe you tell them. You tell me the ones that were there before.
yes.
Uh, the ones I'm just going to read the list. Then you tell us the ones he has recycled or he's proposing to recycle. I don't know. Have they been confirmed or they're just proposed?
These are proposals. They'll go through to Parliament, and of course, they are now working with the Azimio team. They will definitely pass.
So before even we go there, why do you think he didn't come up with the full list of the cabinet secretaries?
My thinking, and from what I read, is that there's 7 slots that have been given to Azimio, Azimio troop, but Azimio and is the principals in Azimio: Kalonzo, Eugene Mamalwa, Kioni, Martha Karua, uh, and Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga wants 4 of those slots.
Mhm.
The other group have said that they don't want. Some of them want, some of them don't want to work with William Ruto. So the ODM side that
Mm.
Raila is the leader have decided to go ahead and nominate the people who are going to work in with William Ruto in government. But
Mhm.
that is where the problem is. That is where the problem is. They cannot come up with the list because the slots are very, very few, and there are so many people in ODM that want those particular position. Martha Karua has got nothing to lose. I am sure he will be joining government if he is given a chance to join government. He has not voiced. You have not seen Karua in any of Kalonzo's presses, and the reason is Karua feels like uh, she is the one who should be uh, having those press conferences, not Kalonzo,
Mhm.
because she was the running mate for one Raila Odinga. So she
Yes.
feels like Kalonzo is jumping the gun. In the pecking order, there is the Azimio leader Raila Odinga, then Martha Karua, and then Kalonzo, other principals. So she
Yes.
has been distancing herself from Kalonzo. So if you have not noticed, she's not been part of those press conferences of Kalonzo, and few times you'd see with Baba. Yeah, so that is what is happening in.
Yeah, because for me, I was thinking
Yeah.
maybe there is a disagreement between Ruto and Raila Odinga on the slots that he is going to give them. And maybe Ruto said those critical dockets, let me fill them as I wait to have the discussion with Raila Odinga. But now you have come up with another angle that the dispute or the conflict might be on the side of ODM or the Azimio side, trying to figure out how they are going to share the positions amongst themselves. And you have brought in a very critical aspect of Mother Karua. And you have said that given chance, she can join government. I still doubt whether that can be possible. Myself, I know Mother Karua as someone who is high-heartedness, someone who cannot just be told, come, we work together, and she accepts. And at one time I said here that I was very eager to see the combination of Raila Odinga as the president and deputized by Mother Karua. The nature of Mother Karua is someone who cannot be easily subordinated. And even right now, I know they are finding it very hard to work with her. And I still think William Ruto would not want Mother Karua in his government because should give the government a very hard time. So such people, they are better in opposition than in government. It's like bringing someone like Miguna, who is used to opposing everything in your government. So one, I doubt that she would like to join the government, and two, I doubt that those who are in government would be willing to welcome her in their government. Having said that, let us go through the proposed cabinet secretaries. Then we can have a discussion to see what William Ruto is proposing. Of course, everyone knows about Kithure Kindiki. And for me, I think he was performing well in the Ministry of Interior. We have Deborah Mlongo Barasa. I don't know who is this. Do you have any idea about this Deborah Mlongo Barasa Mzalendo? I've never heard of. I don't know whether this Deborah Mlongo Barasa is this a female? I know Deborah is a female. Eh?
Deborah.
Yeah.
Deborah is a female. Baraza, yeah,
She's being
she
proposed for the Ministry of Health. Who was occupying this before? This was
Nakumucha.
Nakumicha.
Nakumucha is out, so she's
Yeah.
a female. Deborah is a female,
Mhm.
and of course, you look at whatever her career. She's been in the medical field,
Mhm.
so that could be a plus uh, to
Okay.
William Ruto's government.
And what about Nakumicha? Where was she before becoming the cabinet secretary?
Nakumicha. What is the other name? I can't remember other name. I need to find out where she was. Nakumicha. What was she doing?
I don't know. Then we have Aris Wahome, Minister of Roads,
Mm-hmm.
Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, just as she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why William Ruto is proposing to bring her back is because she was doing a good job. Then we have Julius Migos Ugamba, Minister of Education. I don't know whether you checked something. I was checking something about, because education is a very critical docket in our country. And I was trying to look at I was trying to look if I could get an article about that docket. I don't know whether I saved it somewhere, but I saw that she has been in the legal field for a long time. He is even having a law firm. Uh, I don't know. I think I didn't save that information about him. He is someone who is very experienced in the legal background, more than in the academic field. And the complaints of Gen Z is that Ruto is employing people in the fields that they don't belong academically or professionally. So, what do you think about that?
About, can you repeat the question? I was just reading.
It's not a question. I'm just saying this person here.
Who is that?
This is Julius Migos Ogamba, Minister of Education. His background or profession is in the legal field or the lawyer, and he even have the law firm. And the complaint of Gen Zs was that people are given dockets that they are not qualified, or they don't their profession is not in line with what they are doing. I don't know what you think about that, but I saw that he's someone.
Yeah. I saw somewhere that he was actually was the running mate for Machogu. For when Machogu was running for Kitutu Church, he was running for governor.
Yes, yes.
Machogu was running for governor in Kisi.
I'm not aware of that, but
Yeah, yes,
yes.
that guy was the running mate.
Let me read something about this gentleman here. Mr. Julius was born. He's called Julius Migos Ogamba. Mr. Julius was born in 1967. He has a Bachelor of Laws (LLB) from the University of Nairobi, diploma in law from the Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, University of Rhoden, and a postgraduate diploma in law from Kenya School of Law. He is a passionate, visionary, and accomplished legal professional with close to 30 years of experience in legal practice. As the senior partner, Migos Ogamba and Wadu Advocates, he has developed a large profile of corporate clients across banking and financial industries, manufacturing, oil, gas, and natural energy, and real estate sectors, as well as government agencies. That is the information that we are having from the Wikipedia about.
Another information that you don't have about him is that
Mm,
he has also worked in Kenyan. He was appointed in
mm,
Kenyan. He also ran for Kitutu Chache parliamentary seat, and he lost on a UDA ticket. So he's somebody who has worked with the government
mm.
before now being appointed. So
Wow.
apart from running his own business, he took over. He took over from he succeeded former chief of defense Samson Mwadhathe in Kenyan. He was
Mm.
appointed. He was appointed in March. He was appointed the chairman of Kenyan board.
Okay. Then
Uh,
from there we have Aden Bare Duare, Minister of Defense.
mhm.
What do you think? How do you think Duare was performing before being
I,
fired?
I personally, I feel, I don't know. Duale's character and assumptions are with so many people that I interact with tells me that Duale is not very fit for the job due to conflict of interest,
Mhm,
meaning that the defense force is a very very sensitive docket, and his ties to the Somali regime is
mhm,
what is wanting, and he has been in business in Somali for a very long time, It said that he was in the charcoal business at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Aden Duale, his issues to me is 50-50. Is 50-50. I've not seen anything major that he has done in his docket as the head of our defense. I've not seen
So
anything
what do
major.
you think? You know, in analyzing the performance, you have to say, this is what this person was supposed to do, but he failed to do. Because I
You
think,
see, Mburu,
Mhm.
these people have been there for how long? Less than a year or a year and a half. They have
Mhm.
only been there for a year and a half. We have not gone for any war as a country. In terms of service delivery, I don't expect him to do anything extraordinary, just like his predecessor, people like Saitoti and the rest. So there is nothing much that he's going to do. Remember, our defense force kazi yao ni kuamka asubuhi, kufanya mazoezi na kulala. They don't do anything major, and training, that's what they do. If there is anything that a company is doing in the force, could be just in Somalia, which there is. I think it is high time even we withdraw our troops from Somalia. So we don't even need them in Somalia. So there is nothing to be done much by Adan Duale at this particular point. But Kindiki, I feel he failed in his job to protect the people that he was elected. He was appointed to protect. He used too much force on those young children, uh, kids of 20 years and 21 and below. That was excessive force to an extent of killing them. That was too much, and he ought not to have come back.
Okay, let me now go back to that. Kenyans have heard your sentiments. Though for me, I think Aden Duare has been performing very well because the sole mandate of the defense force is to protect the country, and so far we haven't had any major attack in Kenya for the last 2 years, especially from our greatest threat, the Al Shabaab. And they have thwarted so many attacks that have been planned, and they thwarted them before they happened. And I think that was a plus for Aden Duare, making sure our borders are protected. And also, still, remember our soldiers are still in Somalia, and we haven't had any serious setback. So, as a minister, I can give him the what we call the benefit of doubt, because we haven't seen anything very ugly happen to our country or to our defense forces. On Kithure Kindiki coming to his defense, things happen, and it cannot be that every time the police misbehave, the head must be held accountable. Accountable. As you said, our country is a very confusing country with a lot of dynamics in politics. And just though we say that all the police belongs to the government, you should know that even if they don't show the sides they support, you should know that those police in their heart they have the sides. In their hearts they have the sides, and some of them fail to conduct themselves so professionally, so that they can try also to taint the regime. And not everything that happens or all the conducts of the police have the blessings of the leaders, because we haven't had anywhere, though I had people saying that it was because of Kindiki that people were being shot. At no time or nobody can offer the evidence to show that Kidiki ordered the police to shoot people and kill them. He has always asked people to conduct themselves within the parameters of law, the police. What we should be agitating for is for those people, or those police officers who fail to conduct themselves within the law, to be prosecuted. Because the only time an officer is supposed to use the firearm is when his life or her life is threatened. When people are being stoning the police officers, at that time they can open fire, maybe shoot one person to scare the others instead of losing the police officers. They have been given those rifles to protect themselves and also to ensure the rule of law and order in the country. As much as we cry and we complain so much that the innocent people are being killed and we are calling them kids, some of them are not kids, people of that years, 25, when they are conducting themselves outside the law, they should expect also something is likely to happen to them. I praise and I commend those Gen Zs who went out there peacefully to demonstrate. And today we have cameras, Mzalendo, everywhere. We can see the police officers who were shooting people without provocation. And also we can see those young people who are provoking the police, disrespecting them, stoning them. That is when now the law is supposed to swing so that we can bring our country in order. So we cannot say that those are kids. They don't know that stoning police is bad. They don't know that robbing people is wrong. We can see all those cameras, the videos of what has been happening. So where we need to put the police officers to account, they are supposed to be put to account. They are supposed to explain, why did you open the fire? Can you justify yourself? There should be a commission investigating what happened, because these officers, they act even without order, from nobody. And sometimes it's just to defame the government, because some of them, they don't support the current government. And it is the high time that we start behaving according to the rule of law, whether an officer or a common mwananchi. I am still not very satisfied that there are people who vandalized businesses, burning businesses, and they are still at large. They have not been arrested. Whether they are calling themselves Gen Zs, or whenever you conduct yourself outside the law should catch up with you. You should be put behind bar. You are not fit to be in the public. Mzalendo, I agree with Gen Zs that their protest is a wake-up call for the government to start working for the people. But at the same time, as they have made a point, at the same time, I disagree with them, whereby they are doing what we call the reign of terror, terrorizing the public, telling people that if you don't say what we are saying, we are going to greet you. Tunakuja kukusalimia. And what does that mean? We are coming to punish you. We are coming to attack your properties. That is barbarism of the highest order. I cannot support that. You cannot solve any problem through violence. And that is what I'm saying. They need to retreat, revisit how they are doing their things, because they are likely to face great setback if they don't drop violence in what they are doing. Hii mambo ya kusema tunakuja kusalimia, I should not even come here, talk my mind. They are also dictators. You blame the president of being a dictator. You blame the government of not doing what is supposed to do within the law, but also you are breaking the law by not even letting people express themselves. You are attacking leaders. You are attacking their properties. You are burning down businesses. And then you are telling us we should listen to you. So start by conducting yourself very well. Show us how we are supposed to conduct ourselves. Show the government where they have failed and how they are supposed to conduct themselves. But don't break the law and you expect the same law to protect you. That is where I have the problem. Hii mambo ya kusema tunakuja kusalimia, hiyo ni ujinga ya hali ya juu. And those who are doing that, they should know that they are taking us back. They are not helping us in any way. That is what I feel. And I'm saying it from my heart. Mambo ya watu ati mtu hata hawezi hubiri akiwa free, tutakuja kusalimiwa. Usiongee kwa kanisa, maana ukiongea wewe ukiwa kiongozi utakuja kusalimiwa. I mean, that is barbarism. That is backwardness. We don't want such kind of things. They should know, yes, there are things we want to be done, but can violence solve any problem? If anything, that will create problems for the country.
Anyway, Mburu, I beg to differ with your statements, especially when you say that these Gen Zs were very violent. When you saw the first protest, these Gen Zs were not violent, and they made sure that they ended their protest very, very peacefully without anybody burning any property. Now, after that, there was a lot of political arrangements so that people can join that particular movement. And like the previous protests that we've had by Azimio, there was a lot of looting and a lot of burning and a lot of fights. These Gen Zs could confront the police men unarmed, and you have seen those images of these young boys and girls confronting the soldiers. And you'd tell me, where did you see a Gen Z fighting a police officer? The answer is you'd never saw any of those images. Now, in the
Who is
event,
a Gen Z? Mzaredo, before you see it.
just let me finish. In the event, there are millions who joined the Gen Zs in their movement, and those are the people who later on contaminated these peaceful demonstrations that were organized by these young people. Otherwise, they have had very, very peaceful demonstration. If they were to occupy parliament, they occupied parliament, and
Peacefully,
they left. And they left.
peacefully,
They
within
did.
the law.
They
Within
did.
the law. Which
Yeah,
law? Which law? Which law states that
but
people should occupy parliament by force? No invitation. They paralyze the parliament business. That's a critical
which
house of the
law
country.
tells you that
You
they
see,
should not go to parliament?
let me tell you, Mzalendo,
No, just
it's
cite the law
the
that
law.
tells me.
The law is not just everything stipulated. Some things are common sense. It's
No,
just
but
like you are there in the chamber and people come and disrupt you. That's not how it's supposed to be. So that is not covered in law. That is violence. You cannot go to parliament, attack parliament, enter parliament, vandalize, taking everything, even the apron.
yeah, you see those
I mean, we
those
saw what happened.
those were now thugs. Those people who are
You see,
now vandalizing and all that. Those
so
were now.
Mzarendo,
Those were not. Mhm.
I tend to think Gen Zs are people within a certain age bracket between 12 to around 30 years. So if that is the case, these people we saw, and the videos are there. If you want me to pull the videos, I'll pull them here. The people we have seen vandalizing businesses are people within the same age bracket. The people we have seen throwing stones to police are people within the same age bracket. How then can we distinguish between the good Gen Zs and the bad Gen Zs? And that is what I was saying this. They need to strongly come out and even themselves condemn violence, because what they are doing is destroying our country, is creating a bad image against our country. Mzaredo, building a stable economy, it is not an easy thing. Within 1 month, we can cause a damage to a country that will take us 20 years to get back where we are. Mzaredo, I have visited the countries of Africa where people have gone through serious wars and chaos. Up to date, a country like Uganda has never stood on its feet the way it's supposed to be. Uganda will take like 50 years to be where Kenya is. And that is why you see I'm very critical with people who are violent. I have visited Somalia, not Somalia, but this during the war of John Garang and Salva Kiir. I have visited Southern Sudan. I have seen what conflict and wars can do to a country. So when you hear me saying and telling Gen Zs, you have to be very careful. This thing you are calling Gen Z, which has it is leaderless, it is partiless. I don't know where it is taking us. We don't know.
All right, Mburu, yes, you say that these people are very violent. What about the journalist who was shot?
You see, in the Middle East, you see, this is what I'm telling you, Mzarendo.
And the baby was.
Listen to me. In the midst of war, in the midst of chaos, people are caught across in the crossfire. So let me tell you,
what were you using? Just tell me. Why would you use live bullets?
And why do you think the police have been given live bullets?
For a baby.
Was the gun aimed for a baby?
It doesn't matter.
No, that's the question I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Was this bullet? Because there is what we call the intention and the motive. If the police sees that this is a baby and police targets or points the gun to the baby and shoot, then that is a very bad act. But in the event that, because I don't know the factors that attributed to what happened or to the child being shot, but this is what I'm saying. Apart from listening to the people who are crying, or we are innocent, we have also to see and to look at the situation that we, the citizens, put our police into. We have seen people, many people, a crowd of 1,000 people, chasing like 20 police officers with the stones. When you corner these police, one of them, out of fear, when the adrenaline comes high, one of them will just shoot. And where that bullet will hit, nobody knows. Not even the person who was holding the gun. And that is what I'm telling you. In the point of frustrations and chaos and panic, some of the people who were not even part of demonstrations will be caught in the crossfire. And that is why I tell people, for instance, and this is what I was asking someone. I know you don't like what I'm saying, but I have to talk.
No, I don't like what you're saying. I don't like what you're saying because you are supporting the police killing.
I'm not. You see, don't put words in my mouth.
No. You. That is exactly what you're saying.
What I'm saying. These police officers
journalists are demonstrating on Wednesday.
You see, these police officers are just as humans as you are. They are doing
okay. This is the question. How many police officers have been killed? How many police officers have been abducted?
How many
Gen Zs have? Yes, Gen Zs are very, very violent. How many police officers have they abducted?
And that's what I'm asking you. Are you expecting the police officers?
Yes,
no, listen. Please, you see, I'm waiting for you to ask whatever you're asking. Give me a chance to answer. Okay. You are asking how many police officers have been killed. Are you expecting the police officer to wait to be killed, yet he has been given an arm to protect himself from being harmed by the people? I want to tell you, Mzarendo, that not that sometimes we support people and we want them to look like angels. The problem I have is for people who are like saying these Gen Zs are so innocent, whatever the police are doing is very wrong. They are not supposed to do A, B, C, D. We have to look at the police at the same time. We have to look at the Gen Zs and their conduct so that we can balance what we are doing, because at the end of the day, we want to have our country. So don't just say the Gen Z. We have seen them attack people. They are the same people of the same age, the same character. How can I, as a common mwananchi, distinguish between a good Gen Z and a bad Gen Z. I haven't had any of them condemning.
How many police officers were found in a dump site in Ruai, in Gudurai?
So, do you even know who were in the dump site?
So how
Those
many
are just
bodies? How many
impositions.
bodies were recovered? Or police
Because
officers?
out of what I heard is that all those bodies belong to women. I don't have more information than that. The other thing, the information that we had, that that was an aspect of criminals killing people. How sure are you that in the process of this chaos, criminals did not even take advantage and started killing people? How can you justify that these are the police officers who did this? Yet you don't have information. I don't have information. So what I'm trying to say is this: as much as the Constitution has given us the freedom to protest, as much as the Constitution has given us the freedom of speech, we should always regulate ourselves. But when we act as if we have all the powers to do whatever we want, you want tomorrow, you hijack Geoffrey, you beat Geoffrey makofi, umpore, alafu useme ulikuwa unapigania nchi, I am telling them you are very wrong. And we have seen this mayhem. Who are causing this mayhem? The young people. Wewe leo una smile hapa wewe kwanza najua umepitia hawa vijana na ni vijana wa rika yako, wanakushika wanakunyang'anya.
Yes, let me just tell you this, maybe my view on these kind of demonstrations. I want to disagree with Muzalendo a bit, because what is happening, we've seen demonstrations in this country ever since I was born. I think however much I'm not saying that I was born that old, but I've seen a lot of demonstrations taking this place, and you can be able to see natural and organic demonstrations and differentiate them with the organized demonstrations. When we had demonstrations, I think one of the largest demonstrations that I ever witnessed in 2007 and 2008, I think it is when I was just joining high school. It just done. I was just joining Form 1. There are some parts that would tell that these demonstrations are planned and organized, and that is evident with what happened to the people who are later accused at the International Criminal Court. But there are some parts that the demonstrations were organically natural and they were not organized, and even the prosecutors would not pick people from that end. As you're seeing demonstrations, people claiming to be, the fact that you say you are leaderless, you are faceless, and such kind of things does not mean you are leaderless. I can tell you, Mzalendo, as a matter of fact, you've been seeing the ODM or the Azimio, the CORD, the NASA, call them those names, demonstrating, but you can tell these people are not organized, these people are disorganized, they don't have branded t-shirts, they don't have a coded message and such kind of things. They normally go demonstrate, then get back home. But what we're seeing here, number one, it is an organized demonstration. Somebody will ask you, where is it organized? Yes, they are being organized in the X space. So it is because that we are having technology. You cannot have the way people used to meet in Rift Valley in 2007, 2008 to have meetings and plan how they're going to demonstrate. Currently, people are meeting on X space and they're planning how they are going to demonstrate. So these are organized and well-calculated demonstrations that we cannot say are natural. You cannot say these are people who are aggrieved. Some of them are even motivated and are even encouraged to go and do so. There are people who just go on the streets because they've been incited through these acts. They've been incited through the social media, so they find themselves demonstrating. And if they say they are not having leaders, then who is giving this kind of demands? I know somebody who is faceless cannot be able to. How are they giving these demands? How are they getting to know that, okay, we have to put on white shirts? How are they getting to know that, okay, we have to have these hashtags and such kind of things? So it is high time that we tell our youth or our young people that the kind of demonstrations that we are having right now is not going to bear any fruit, and there are some things that are just not going to help them. It is not from them. You talk of the police, of course, when we see what is happening, these demonstrations, like what happened when the parliament was occupied, it was really, it reached a stage whereby the police restrained, And though it is not right for them to use live bullets, but some of these people, when you see them, new chokozi, like they just try to provoke the police and such kind of things. So we need to ask ourselves, what are the end game of these demonstrations? Mzalendo, you watch news every day. When you go to CNN or you go to Al Jazeera, they normally bring news of chaos. You see what is happening in Bangladesh, you see what is happening in Somalia, you see what is happening in South Sudan. And we should be able to tell our younger brothers and sisters that these countries that we see, Bangladesh and South Sudan and Somalia, it all started with people who are saying they don't have leaders, they don't recognize any leadership. And once we reach at a point when there is a vacuum, it means our constitution will have been maybe suspended by default. It will be hard for us to come back and have a country that we have as at now. So I feel that some of the demands that the people who call themselves Gen Z, yet I'll tell you as a matter of fact, the people on the streets are not Gen Zs. Look at their faces. People we are having there are not Gen Zs. The streets we are having some thugs for hire, or the goons for hire, the ones who are snatching phones and destroying property. And the Gen Zs are only on X and taking photos for TikTok. The Gen Zs are not on the street. The Gen Zs on the street a day before the finance bill was passed. But the day people went to attack parliament, that is the day that the Gen Zs stopped going on the street. So the Gen Zs are no longer demonstrating, but we are having people who are now taking advantage of the platform that has been set by Gen Zs. As Gen Zs are planning, the people who are planning these demonstrations are people like Miguna Miguna. Miguna Miguna is comfortably enjoying coffee and tea in Canada while he's telling people how to occupy how to go and occupy the airport. Yet he knows very well, next to our airport, we are having the military base there. We are having the police training school there. We are having the GHC, the AP training unit there. Then you are telling people to go and occupy parliament when you are comfortably seated there in Toronto. We are having former Chief Justice William Mutunga. This is the same guy who handed power to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in a 5-minute ruling. He's the one who is telling Kenyans that you go and occupy. We are having Boniface Mwangi. I knew Boniface Mwangi as a civil activist. He vied in Mathare, failed, and he is a commercial activist. He doesn't do it for free. His children are learning in the British schools. He's having his home that is guarded. Somebody cannot even get inside there, but then he's telling people go on the streets. And yet when he's going on the street, he has got a camera behind him. He's having some chase cars next to him. He will get arrested, cosmetically taken to maybe police station. Then he's having lawyers around him. Then he will get out. So Kenyans should stop listening.
All right, Leo, what is so different from what Raila Odinga was doing the other time? What is so different? Because he had bodyguards sponsored by the states, and he had cars around, and we had people also coming from those slum areas to demonstrate and to agitate for what they want. What is wrong? What is wrong with people coming out in
What
the
is wrong
streets?
is this, Talendo. We can't keep on doing wrong things. Raila have been doing a wrong thing by demonstrating, and we cannot keep on doing the same thing because Raila did it. So it is a time that we need to stop it. So we need to stop it by telling Raila that he needs
you know the
and
fact
everybody
that
to stop it. So the fact that Raila used to do it, we cannot continue doing culture. I want to give an example. There's this thing that has been going on.
You see, I know you are talking point. The fact that you have joined government now, you feel that demonstrations are not okay and they should stop because you are in government. The other time you are demonstrating, you are okay with it because it was your leader who was organizing the same demos. Now that is in government, then you feel it is okay. Now, my point is, Gen Zs had got a structured way of demonstrating. They are leaderless and they are partyless. So why do you want them to have a leader in the first place? That's the first question.
Zarendo.
Just let me finish. Why would you want them
I'll
to have
answer
a leader?
that. Okay.
Why do you want them to have a
Mzalendo,
leader? Because that
Leo,
leader.
if you can just give me 1 minute.
Why do you want them
I
to
just
have a
want to
leader?
ask Zarendo one question.
I want to remove the notion that we are having an organization that is leaderless. Mzalendo, there is nothing like leaderless. The fact that you say I'm fatherless, like me, I cannot start. There are people who say they are fatherless. I cannot claim I'm
So
fatherless.
why
Yet somebody gave birth
who told you
beside me.
who
So
told
these
you
people
that
are
they are
not leaderless.
leaderless?
I
Who
will
told
tell
you
you
that
the
they are
leaderless.
leaderless?
When people are
Mzalendo.
contributing money for the medication of the people injured, there is somebody who was receiving this money. The accounts were open. There are people who are responsible to opening these accounts. So these are leaders. So the fact that I say I'm leaderless doesn't really mean I'm leaderless. That is what they say they are leaderless. But in real sense, they are not leaderless. If your kids
So
today start saying that
you
I'm
see
fatherless, that
the
doesn't
government
mean you're a father.
has all the machinery, has got all the machinery, has got all the information. If they want a leader for Gen Z, they can get them anytime they
They
want.
know the government has told you. You still don't know the leaders
and you
of
think
Gen Z.
the
It is in
government,
fact
and you think
who
the
the leaders
government
of Gen Z.
is not aware, and you think the
They
government
have
does
leaders.
not know those
It
people.
is in public domain.
They know the people. They know the people. Why can't they
And,
arrest the people
and
then?
Mzalendo, with all
And
your knowledge,
what are they doing that is illegal
Mzalendo, I have a question
that
for
they
you.
need to be arrested for?
Kwa sababu
No,
mimi
what are they doing that is so
you
illegal?
see Mzalendo,
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I know you have a lot of political experience, having even vied for political positions. You are an intellectual. You are the last person I would like to believe that you are believing that the Gen Zs are leaderless. Because even yourself, in your heart, you know that is deception and you are deceiving yourself.
No,
Because there
these are
is,
new. I
let me
mean,
finish. Let me finish.
you are used to
Because
leaders in your
because
own
this
setup. You're used to it.
anything starts with an idea. This is an idea of somebody. I sit down like now here in my sitting room and I think of something. Then I think on how it can work. I sell it to another person. Those the people, the initial group that comes up with that idea and plan how to implement it, those are the leaders. And you know very well what is happening with the Gen Zs. This is something that has been organized by someone. He is somewhere. He knows himself. And you come here in the media telling Kenyans that they are leaderless. Unless we are not intellectuals enough.
The president
You know
of
when we are being right.
listen, the president of the Republic of Kenya yesterday said Gen Zs are leaderless, Gen Zs are tribeless, Gen Zs, there is no way. He has tried to negotiate with them to come to the table. They cannot come to the table because they don't have a representation. I agree with you. I agree
Zarendo,
with you. Listen,
let me tell you something.
The president said they
And maybe I can put it in Swahili.
not say they are leaderless. They claim to be leaderless.
They claim. Now,
They claim to be leaderless.
let me put this in Swahili. Maybe people will understand me. When people come to you and they pretend to be like they are dumb, wanajifanya wajinga, ama wanakufanya mjinga. These people wanajaribu kufanya serikali ni wajinga, Wakenya ni wajinga, tutaenda huko tuwaambie sisi hatuna viongozi. Do you know what the government has done? Ili waweze kuoga hawa watu na kuwanyamazisha. Okay, mumesema hamuna viongozi. Hata sisi tunasema hamuna. But don't think the government with all the intelligence that they don't know they have leaders and they have structures. What will happen? Hii kitu ya kuclaim they are leaderless, they are partyless, they are everything less. The government nayo itajifanya haijui kuna viongozi ili iweze kuwagoga polepole. Sasa hakuna mtu atatokea kusema viongozi wetu wanagogwa, viongozi wetu because they have decided to pretend they are not there, but we know very well they are there. And Mzalendo, let me tell you, it reaches a point whereby we can say enough is enough. Initially, they were demonstrating against the finance bill. And the president said this is not a good reason enough why we should have this standoff. Let us do away with it. Let us go back to the drawing board. If that is what will cause this country to enter or in chaos, let us do away with it. And I thought they would say the president, Waisema Zakayo Ashuke, ameshuka. I thought they would say the president has done a good thing because he is willing to listen to reason together with us. He said some of the ministers in your docket, they are very incompetent. Is that a situation? Let me
badala ya kulete fujo, badala ya kulete vita, badala ya kuharibu mali na kuiba mali ya wananchi, mtuambie mpango yenu tofauti na yetu. Wakenya wataamua mpango gani ni bora kuliko ingine. It is obvious that we cannot replace our democracy and the transformation and the plan we have today. We cannot replace it with mayhem, with anarchy, with destruction of property. It is not possible. We are intelligent people in Kenya and we know what we want. And I have said, those who are sponsoring, those who are marketing, those who are orchestrating this violence, they cannot continue to be faceless. They cannot continue to be nameless. They cannot continue to be formless. They cannot continue to be anonymous. Let them step forward and tell us, what is this violence going to achieve in the Republic of Kenya? And what is their plan beyond this violence? Sinamna hiyo? Yes. Wasituambie tu wanapanga maandamano ya fujo. Watuambie hii fujo, maandamano ya fujo, maafa ambayo inaendelea, ile uharibifu ya mali, ile mali watu wanachomewa, hiyo mpango yote itafika wapi? Na itasaidia nini? Na itasaidia nani? Na ndio nimesema going forward.
Leo, this video is not playing correctly.
Going forward, we will protect the nation. We will protect
Leo,
life.
we can't
will
hear
protect
anything.
property. We will stop the looters. We will stop the killers. We will stop mayhem. We will stop anarchy.
You need to send it. Send it to me. I'll play it from my end.
From your end, it's clear.
I could hear everything.
You get
I don't know. Maybe it is your side. I could hear everything. It was okay. So anyway.
But anyway, we got to the president's point. But you see now again, he comes out saying leaderless. He's not saying about the people, the children, the people, the police officers who have killed these Gen Zs.
You see, Mzalendo.
The president is getting it wrong, and I'm telling you, he's getting it very, very wrong.
I think that one has been addressed, and maybe I heard you talking about what happened in Kware. What happened in Kware is totally different from the demonstrations, and maybe somebody was smart enough and wanted to make the country, or maybe make people angry, trying to link that with the killings. What happened in Kware, I think that's something that we need to look at this as a country. It's related to religion and these cultic things and the people. Because no way the police will only select women. And I don't think officers can put people in.
And do you know Mzalendo?
Police.
And do you know Mzalendo?
Those people who've gone, they are now bullets, because how will the police officer now start using the pangas instead of bullets? So it is just that it was coincidence that somebody maybe just
what about that student leader who was what about that student leader who was found in the river?
I think we should just be talking of the known cases like those ones of Rex, and that one happens. It's not the first time that people are dying in demonstrations. Of course, you've been there, and during the 2013 elections, 2017, you saw what happened. 2022, you saw what happened.
I'm talking about the mistake. The mistake you are making, Mzalendo, the mistake you are making is to purport or to think that we are here speaking on behalf of the government, and you're asking us. You are speaking on behalf of the government. And now you are asking us the questions for the government. At no point have I supported the killing, either from the police or from the demonstrators. What we are saying, it reaches a point where people must rethink what they are doing. How beneficial is it to the country? At no point have I said demonstrations are not good. If those demonstrations are not chaotic. In Kenya, we don't have a history of doing peaceful demonstrations, apart from the one which was done by the doctors. How come when the doctors were demonstrating, we didn't see people die? Why is it that when the Gen Zs are demonstrating, what we see is people stoning the police, is people chasing the police, is people provoking the police on their eyes? And you know, for me, it feels so bad.
Buru,
Because Mzalendo,
we argue the whole time. This is a lie. This is a lie.
I know how you feel. But Mzalendo, these police officers are people employed and they are sent there by their bosses with mandate to protect the country. So when I'm in my job, the least you can do is to respect my job. And anything I have never allowed anybody to do, even here in America, is anybody to disrespect what I do. I stand my ground because I have a responsibility to work for myself, to work for those that I love, to work for my family. Those Gen Zs who go even to their almost poking the eyes of the officers because they want provocation. I have seen others telling police, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. I mean,
so that warrants a police to shoot him.
If you continue provoking the police, the next minute you start stoning them, what are you expecting? That rival. There is a reason why Mzalendo kuna sababu yenye polisi hajapewa kijiti ama rungu ama whip. There is a reason why the police officer is given a gun. Number one.
Can I give you?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Yeah, finish.
Number one reason why those police officers are sent where there are demonstrations. Like now, Kenya, for instance, we are threatened by the terrorists. People can be out there on the road as they are saying Ruto must go. And then the terrorists will come and start shooting them. Who will defend the people? It is the police officers. The same ones, they think they are their enemies. And if they are killed by the external forces, they will start saying the government has failed to protect us. That is one. Number two, the police are there to protect the properties of those people who have no interest with the demonstrations. What does my business have to do with the Gen Zs? I see the other day, Mzalendo, they stoned the Huduma Center. They destroyed it completely. The doors, the window, everything. What does the Huduma Center have to do with the Gen Zs? And then you say, oh, they are innocent babies are being killed. Wacha nikuambie Mzalendo, and I'm saying this from the deepest part of my heart. If I am the president of Kenya, hawa watu waendelee kufanya hivyo, I will tell Kenyans who have no interest with these demonstrations, siku moja kaeni nyumbani, because there is a reason why we have a government. Tutachapana kuanzia asubuhi mpaka jioni, because mtoto akililia wewe unafanya nini? What these people are doing right now is destroying the country. Billions of money. What will happen at the end of the day? The government must do its work. They are barricading roads. Those people who want to go to jobs, they are not going to jobs. Those people who are sick, they want to go to access the hospital, medical, they are not doing it. Why? Because somebody is saying we have agitations. That is not what the Constitution talks about. Your right should not infringe on the rights of others. The fact that you want to demonstrate, you should not stop me from going to work. You should not stop the school kids from going to school. You should not stop the courts from running. You should not stop the parliament from conducting its business. So the fact that we are supporting the Gen Zs and making them look very big, that is where we are going wrong. They should also conduct themselves within the parameters of law. When they attack the police, they threaten the life of the police, they should know that what the police officers are holding are not sticks. Those are guns. Na hata kama mimi niko na bunduki, unakuja kunipiga na mawe, nitakutoka risasi. I'm telling you the truth. Huwezi hata kukuta polisi ofisa na kisu ama na paga na ako na bunduki. Kabla umugoke ama kabla umukate atakuwa amekupiga risasi. So what I'm saying is this. Can these kids, because Mzalendo, I was there in 2007. I saw what happened. I was one of those people who went to visit those people who were running from Kenya. I went all the way to Tororo, taking them blankets and mattresses and food. I have seen people suffer because something that started like the complaint about general election, it went the wrong direction. If we don't tell these kids that the direction you are taking, it is likely to run out of hand, they are going to throw our country into dogs. And Muzarado will be here saying, Geoffrey, you were right. We were supposed to tell them the truth. They are going overboard. Everything should have limit. And that's what I'm telling you, I'm supporting the president. The reason why people died in 2007 in large numbers is because we had a very polite president who was not up to the task. He thought people would demonstrate and then they would control themselves and go back to their houses. In the next minute, we had people dying. I like William Ruto because he is a strong president. I'm someone who believes in the word of God. When I read the Bible and I see the kings that God was choosing, people like David, they were not cowards. And the Bible says, and the sword of the king, it is there not for the good people, but for the bad people, and he does not bear the sword in vain. It is to stop people from violence. It is to stop people from destroying properties. It is to stop people from killing each other. And that is the work of the government. And when the president says enough is enough, I support him 100%. Kenyans, if you don't limit them, they will go above board the next time. The business community will come out and say these Gen Zs, we will not allow them to continue. Another group will say, oh, they are fighting Baba. Another group will say, oh, they are fighting Ruto. And we will have the next minute, we are likely to have more deaths than we are having right now. That is what I think, and that's how I feel.
Well, this is a barricade. This is what police need to do. This is a normal riot. Are you seeing them with guns? They don't have any guns. They have got those shields and all that. It is unlawful to use a bullet, a rubber bullet, to demonstrators in Kenya. That is against the law. So whatever the police is doing is illegal. Just bear that in mind. Even if
is that what the law says?
That is what the law.
Don't misquote the law.
That is what the law says.
What does the police penal code states? At what point? At what point are the police officers allowed? Because the law does not say it is against the law for the police to use the bullet.
You had your time. You had your time, and I gave you all the time. As per Article 244 of the Constitution of Kenya, law enforcement officers are required to adhere to transparency, accountability, respect of human rights, ensuring response and are lawful, and avoid excessive force. In the Kenyan in Kenya, police are not allowed to use live ammunition, rubber bullets, and other crude weapons against protesters. Read Article 244 of the Constitution of Kenya.
Zarendo, you don't know what you're talking about. I want to tell you this.
I just quoted for you the Constitution.
I want to tell you this.
Of Kenya talking.
The fact that when you tell people that the police officers are not supposed to use rifle bullets, they're not supposed to use rubber bullets, then you are telling us even when they are going out there, they should not be given those guns. We would have given them rungus and sticks to go and fight with the demonstrators. The police, if I even listened to the inspector of police, the same law allows the police to protect themselves against anyone who threatens their life. So, and the minister or the president will not be there when I'm having that gun to tell me, Geoffrey, oh, now your life is threatened. People react differently. I have a gun and I see a mob of people chasing me. And Muzarendo, you have not been fair. Here you have been showing us only the right side of the Gen Zs. You have not shown us where these people have been chasing the police, stoning them. We have seen police officers running away.
You have not allowed me. You have been
see,
protect. You have been.
Mzalendo,
You have not allowed me a chance to
Mzalendo,
even execute my point. I have let
Mzalendo.
you rant
Here,
and rant about this
here in
thing.
America, because you're in America, can anybody dare? Not even throwing a stone. You are here in this, which we call it the citadel of democracy. Can any public member dare to slap a police officer? The public has utmost respect to the officers because the law enforcement.
Because there's a law. The police know the law and the citizens know the law. They know where their limits.
So does it mean that the Kenyans don't know the law?
They know the law. That's why they are protesting peacefully.
They are not protesting peacefully. You are lying to the people. What are you calling peaceful demonstrations? There is nothing like peaceful demonstrations. Even our viewers, if they can be genuine enough, they know the protests that we are witnessing in Kenya, they are not peaceful.
Are you saying that protests in Kenya are not peaceful?
They are not. Why are we lying to ourselves?
Did you see the doctors' protest?
It was very peaceful.
So why are you saying that the protests in Kenya are not?
I am talking of the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs protests are not peaceful. We have seen provocation to the police officers. We have seen people, even the police officers are very peaceful. Just doing their job.
The first day Gen Zs had a protest, how many people were killed?
What are you saying?
Can you answer me? The first day they had their protest, how many people were killed?
Question, Zalendo. The first day Gen Zs had a protest, it was peaceful, no life was lost. There's a day Raila Odinga held a protest in Kamukunji. It was peaceful, no life was lost. Lives are normally lost when people divert from being peaceful and start being chaotic and being brutal and provoking police. So what we can say is that demonstrators themselves are responsible for provoking the police. So if the demonstrators are peaceful, lives are never lost. You've said the doctors demonstrated peacefully, no life was lost. Raila sometimes had a peaceful demonstration, no life was lost. But when the demonstrations become violent, that is when the police normally go rogue, and some do it maybe in the name of protecting their lives or something like that. The police are also peaceful and less provoked. So you have to agree that the current Gen Z demonstrations are not peaceful. The first one was peaceful. Why can't they demonstrate peacefully the way they did in the first demonstration? Why did they change from peaceful demonstration to violent demonstration? Because somebody told them that if you demonstrate peacefully, nothing is going to come out of it. But if you destroy things, people are not getting out, people are not going to the airports, people are not buying things, that the government will feel the pain. Listen to the discussions that are going on X by one Miguna. It will tell you that people like Miguna, people like Willie Mutunga, people like Boniface Mwangi are the ones who are leading the young Kenyans and are leading them to anarchy. They're people who don't believe in leadership, so they tell them, say, you are faceless, you are leaderless. Remember, Miguna swore in Raila as a president without term limits. Raila is still serving. So if they depend on Miguna to oust Ruto, I think this is something that will continue, because Miguna will want to call himself a four-star general, yet he never fought even a single war. He ran out of the country when people like Anyang' Nyong'o and the Orengos did not run away from Moi, but he had to run away only to come back when Kibaki was president and to be deported again. So we have to agree that this thing started peacefully, but the direction that it has taken right now is not the right direction. And we need to tell our youth, our sons and daughters, brothers and sisters to retract and get back so that we can have our country called Kenya.
You know, I like when an ODM supporter now goes back to their senses, because we have been here with you all along when you wanted to stop State House, then in your demonstrations, and the date was March 13th or 14th, when Ruto had just been inaugurated. The protest was to oust Ruto from power. That those protests to open the server. These things were happening. But let me tell you, this game of musical chairs and changing positions will not help the country. Gen Zs had got a very good plan of putting the government in check. They had got pointers that they had told William Ruto, and he acted on them. He said that they don't want the cabinet. He dissolved the cabinet. They said that they want a discussion with him. They went to the express. They had the kind of discussion that they wanted. They are now agitating for more transparency in government and accountability. uh, that is not a bad thing to ask for. And this is something that affects me and you. When people are employed on tribal basis in Kenya, it affects everybody else. So some of these things were not to remove Ruto from power. The people who are coming in, as you are calling Miguna and the rest, are the ones who have brought in that notion that Ruto must go. Initially, Ruto was not. Ruto was an issue, but it was not that he had to leave
So
power.
what
It
are the
was
people the president is telling you that are the organizers of these demonstrations? It is not the Gen Z. So they are the leaders, they are the owners of this chaos, the Migunas, the Willy Mitunga and the rest. They're the owners of this
I
chaos. So
think
we don't want
just like the political class, when Babu Owino came out trying to associate himself with the Gen Zs, and they put him off. There are so many political leaders who have been trying to associate themselves with the Gen Zs. Even Baba himself was told to sit back because this is not his movement. So they have been very, very clear on what they want. They didn't want the political class to infiltrate their movement. Yes, the government can stop everybody that is their leader and all that, but they will never stop the idea. The idea is good governance. The idea is accountability by the president. The idea is equity, equal distribution of almost everything that we pay in terms of taxes. So what they are agitating for is okay. You can kill the messenger. You can stop them the way you want, but the message, it will be home. So even if you try as much as you can to stop this movement, I can tell you 2027 it will be even worse. They have to address these issues that these kids are raising. And these issues are important when they are raising about issues of health, university education. These are issues that they want addressed. These are issues that they want addressed. So many kids are dropping out of school. You yourself, we have a fundraiser that is going here on a freak for a student who has not reported to the university because the parents cannot afford the university fee. We have it here going on each and every time. We are not even yet to raise the amount that is required to join the university. So life is very, very unbearable for some of these students. And remember, they are leaving college and they are in drones, and many of them, the government is supposed to give them jobs. Are they getting those jobs? They are not getting those jobs. Those opportunities are not there. And if they are there, they are meant for your tribe and my tribe, because government is split into shareholders, people who voted for William Ruto. That is why William Ruto suggested that he wanted a government of national unity. Why is he suggesting that the same right now? Why couldn't he do it in the beginning? Because of these kids who are pushing for the agenda. So this agenda, as much as you think it is bad, it is a good thing for the country. It is a good thing for the president because some of the decisions he wouldn't have made them alone. They would have looked very, very political. So when they are pushing for rights, these are rights. Right for employment, that is a right. Right for shelter, that is a right. Right for equity, that is a right. So I don't know which government will not want to provide, will not want to cede on the demands of these young people.
Mzalendo, it is good that you are supporting the Gen Zs. And initially, when the movement started, you remember I was here. And for me, I don't hide from what I feel and from what I think. But I want to tell you, as much as what they are doing is good and what they are agitating for, they are not the only ones who are affected by those things. When there is no equity, when there is no employment, and when the governance is not done the right way, it is affecting the entire country. So they cannot profile other people and say that we are the only ones who feel this. It's good that they came up and talked about it. But at the same time, as much as we want to support their agitation, their complaints, yes, they are varied. But at a particular point, they started losing focus and particularity. When they said now it is not about the things we were talking about, now it is about Ruto must go. Then what is the end game? That is where they lost the point. So everything that has no control or has no specification and has no limit, it is likely to run out of hand. And it's very easy to light the fire, but it becomes very hard to stop the fire. Mzalendo, there was a time me and my brother, we went to hunt the porcupines, and they entered in a hole.
Do you eat those things?
Don't ask why we were hunting them, because now you want to distract me. So we went to hunt porcupines some time back when we were boys.
Yes.
And they went to the mountains, in the bushes. We followed them. They entered in the hole. And me and my brother decided, we came up with an idea. We gathered all the trashes and everything we put in the hole, and we lit the fire. But it happened, the fire catched now the bushes. The fire became so big, we tried, and it was in somebody's farm. We tried to put it off, but we could not. Next minute, me and my brother, we ran away. And in the next minute, the entire area was burning, the entire farms, there was fire everywhere. We were not even saying we were the one who started. Why? Because the fire had ran out of control. And this is what I'm saying. The Gen Z started very well. They were very specific. They knew exactly what they wanted. They knew what they were agitating for. And all Kenyans were happy about it. But do you know what is happening right now? We have started withdrawing our support. Because something that was good, it can turn to be very ugly and very bad. And that is what I'm saying. These people have never witnessed a situation whereby a president who has been elected through the ballot has been forced out of power. Now you tell the people who supported William Ruto and who believe in William Ruto that we are going to overthrow him by force and by fire. And William Ruto is not just a kawaida president. He has also a strong political base. That such kind of a thing can put a country in a very chaotic situation. Don't think that because, like now, it's like, I think because I don't support Raila Odinga, I think that everybody will hate Raila Odinga or will not support Raila Odinga because I have told you.
Muru, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Just one question. Did you see, you talked about William Ruto's political base. Did you see a demonstration in his political base?
You see, those demonstrations were about issues. They were not about William Ruto exiting office.
Stop there. These demonstrations were about issues. These demonstrations were not about William Ruto exiting office. Nobody, including myself, wants Ruto to leave power. The issue of power has been hijacked by millennials, not Gen Zs. The Gen Z's issues are very, very clear, and you are giving them an issue that they are not even part of. Kina Anifa, when you hear in their conversations, they are not after William Ruto leaving power. That has never been their agenda. That has been the agenda of Miguna and the rest of his team. Those are millennials. Those are millennials. So don't confuse the agenda. When you
Now, yes.
when you log into X-Space and you find people of your age talking like Gen Zs and a few of them in that group, that does not represent the face of Gen Zs, and that is what is frustrating the government. They don't know who is who now. Do they
Even you don't know who is who. Because
I don't know. For me,
you don't know. Nobody knows who is who. And how can we know that?
you know, for me, that doesn't matter. The message is the most important.
So the message has already been confused.
No,
so that confusion is what is leading to chaos.
You are the one who is confusing the message so that
no. The initiators of the idea are the ones who were supposed to put mechanisms to ensure that what they are doing and the message they are sending will be clear. It will have no ambiguity. It will not have any confusion to the public.
I think
the level number one to do that, they were supposed first of all to identify their structures of leadership. Nothing moves.
But why are you telling? Why are you telling Gen Z?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Tell me anything that has ever succeeded without structure of leadership. I'm telling you the truth.
Why do you want? I mean, this is not your movement.
I'm telling you that because already the Gen Zs have failed along the way. Because they are leaders, they are there, but they are cowards.
Why do you want their leaders?
We don't want their leaders. We want them to be organized.
I mean,
organization. We want them to be organized.
No, right listen. Just wait. You brought a very good point. We, after William Ruto, we supported William Ruto, me and you, yeah? After William Ruto was elected the President of the Republic of Kenya, Raila and his team started demonstrating on the cost of living, masufuria kwa kichwa and all that. Yeah, we saw that they had a leader. What did they achieve?
No, you think
no. Just answer the question.
That is an ambiguous question which has no particular answer.
Was the cabinet?
Because right now you are inviting me. You are inviting me to start breaking down. You see, Mzalendo, some of your questions, they have no start, they have no end. Because that is what we call an ambiguous statement. That is an invitation for me now to start telling you what are the achievements of Kenya Kwanza government. And you know very well, and I normally tell people, Mugara muwe na haki umpe. If we are to sit down here and start breaking down all the things that the government of Kenya Kwanza has done up to now, it has done something. But now you want us to tell us, there is something which has been achieved.
You see,
a lot has been achieved.
And that is my question. You have jumped into achievement.
Mzalendo, you are continuing to push us into more confusion because you are an elder, an intellectual, and a supporter of Gen Zs. But you are the people who are not advising these kids in the right way. You are not.
Listen. I have told you.
Because you are not telling them the
truth. I have told you.
I am one of their supporters, and I want them to succeed. And that is why I'm telling them, if you don't want to bring this confusion, right now you have told us that people who are
you have dared Gen Z.
Let me finish.
No, you are not supporting Gen Z.
No, I am not supporting chaos. Can I tell you something?
The government killing them.
Mzalendo, you see, you're already in total confusion. I have said this, and don't put words in my mouth. Don't dare put words in my mouth.
No, but you said the government can use.
I am not supporting those people who are rooting, because that is not in the Constitution. That is not a right under the Constitution. I am not supporting those people who are vandalizing properties. That is not part of what is protected in the Constitution. So if the agencies who are doing that, I am not supporting those people who are barricading roads because, and that is what I've said, and I'm very clear with what I'm saying. If the agencies who are doing that, then those kind of agencies I'm not supporting. I am only supporting what is covered under the 2010 Constitution, that people should picket, should protest peacefully, unarmed, and then they do what? They submit their petition. What is their petition? The grievances you have. You petition them to who? To the relevant authorities. But these people who are singing Ruto must go, these people who are carrying the stones, chasing the police, those ones I'm not supporting. And I will not be here and tell people that I can support holistically chaos and mayhem, and you still think that I can support that. That is not me. Anybody who is peaceful, when they are attacked, I'll talk about it. But anybody who is carrying stones, disrespecting the police, destroying people's properties, barricading roads, vandalizing businesses, those are people who are criminals. And whatever happens to them, I don't care. I don't care. I can tell you this. If today I'm the president, the way now you are saying, I don't know, the police are doing, I would give the orders for all the people who are vandalizing properties, barricading roads, stoning the police to be arrested and prosecuted. That is the rule of law. I am telling you, you are in America here. Let anybody try to do that. Let anybody try to come and
arrested and prosecuted, not killed.
Do you know in America here, Mzalendo, apart from the police shooting
Salimia Kimanzi, he has been here.
Kimanzi, this guy, huyu jamaa anafanya kichwa yangu iende bio sana. Kimanzi, habari yako? Huyu jamaa ananisumbua hapa kwa studio.
Mzalendo, sikubaliani na Mzalendo. Sikubaliani. I agree with what Buru is saying. Mzalendo, I don't agree with what you are saying.
What don't you agree with?
Because you know the same thing Buru is saying, that watu wanaenda kwa maduka za watu, business za watu wanaharibu. President should take those things serious. These people should be arrested and prosecuted.
Nani amekataa hiyo? Nani amekataa hiyo?
Wewe.
Mimi nimekuambia Gen Z wakidemonstrate hawaibi kitu ya mtu. Wale wanaiba vitu za watu ni wahalifu. Sikiza Kiswahili kama Kizungu ni ngumu. Wale wanaiba vitu za watu ni wahalifu. Wale wanabomoa manyumba ama kuchoma magari au ni wahalifu. Na usisahau serikali pia inaweza fanya hivyo.
Mzalendo, can you help us something? Can you start by
pia unajua pia serikali pia inaweza fanya hivyo kusingazia wale majenzi. Ngoja nimalize. Nilisikia pale kwa ile Jacaranda, wale vijana wa Jacaranda wanasema now they will deal with the Gen Zs. Haujasikia hiyo maneno? Now there will be a counter protest ya wale jamaa wana support Azimio na wameingia pande ya serikali to counter the Gen Z movement. Have you heard of that?
Mzalendo, before we even go to Jacaranda, because I don't follow Jacaranda things, I wanted to just request you something, because you are telling us the bad things that are happening, they are not done by Gen Zs. The people who are calling for Ruto must go, those are not Gen Zs. You tell us who they are. The people who are vandalizing businesses and all those things, they are not Gen Zs. We have seen people stoning the police, they are not Gen Zs. Can you help us and our viewers by starting to define what is or who is a Gen Z?
Well, thank you very much, Mburu. In fact, that topic is very, very confusing, but people ought to know who is a Gen Z. A Gen Z is a young, peaceful protester of the ages between between born in the year 1990 to the year 2010. Born between the year 1990 to the year 2010. These are a group of people who have used digital platforms to propagate their agenda and to create social awareness amongst their peers. Yeah, those are the people called Gen Zs. Now, Gen Zs, to many of us, this is a new phenomenon, including Mburu, my friend here. We have never seen this group of people, of young people, being involved in politics and matters that affect them. This is a new and extraordinary, extraordinary thing that is happening in our country. Now, Gen Zs have got their own economic policies, government accountability, social justice, a fight against police brutality, corruption in national government and in the county government. I hope I have answered what agency is.
Now, would I
Any
be
other
right to
question?
say that the demonstrations we have been seeing, they don't belong to Gen Zs? Because apart from the first and the second demonstrations that happened in Kenya, all others have been chaotic. And would I be right to say that the demonstrations that are happening in Kenya, they don't belong to them, basing on your definition of who is a Gen Z?
What? The
I'm
demonstration
saying, basing on your definition of who is a Gen Z, first of all, you have said is a peaceful demonstrator, as peaceful between the age of, I don't know what, to 30 years, I think 12 to 30 years.
born in 1990 to the year 2010. So you can do
So
the math.
we can say to a larger extent, then demonstrations we are seeing in Kenya, they don't belong to Gen Zs, because apart from the age bracket, you have said they're supposed to be peaceful, basing on maybe the meetings they have been having.
I have given you the age bracket.
But also, I can tell you right from the organization, when people pick themselves that we people of this age, we are the ones who are going to bring change in Kenya. It's also, when I look at it and I think about it, it is also a movement that is likely not to go very far, because for you to achieve greatness, you have to come up with something that can be supported by all people. Now that is the age kind of segregation. You are telling us that we, the people who are born between this age and this age, we are the ones who are going to bring these changes. Number two, they haven't come up with the mechanisms to ensure that their movement is not hijacked by politicians and thugs. Number three, they have said they are leaderless, they are partyless, they are tribeless. Now, I can tell you for sure, the reason why we're having all this chaos and confusion is because anything that does not have the head or the leader, anybody can come up and bring confusion. And that's what is exactly happening. And that is why I said, if the Gen Zs want to succeed in their agitation, they need to come up now with a structure. We have had them. Their grievances, they are varied, because those are things we have been talking here. But if they don't want to throw our country into dogs, or they don't want to be at loggerhead or serious confrontation with the government, they must have a structure. Because if you are a coward, because the reason why they are hiding is because they are cowardly. Even, I don't know, a movement of cowards, I don't know anywhere in the world that it has ever achieved anything. If you keep on hiding, there is nothing to achieve, because your agenda will be hijacked by other people and they will drive it. Maybe we are going to Nairobi, but they will take it to Naivasha, because you are not there. So that's what I was saying, that these Gen Zs, we have heard from Zarendo here, of which I'm still not agreeing with him, that the demonstrations that are chaotic, they don't belong to you. Those that are singing Ruto must go, they are not Gen Zs. Those that are stoning the police, they are not Gen Zs. But I haven't heard the Gen Zs distancing themselves from these hooligans. They haven't seen the Gen Zs distancing themselves from those who are singing Ruto must go without having an agenda. If Ruto goes today and he says, oh, Gen Zs have pushed me out, they haven't told us whom do they want to become the president, or how will Kenya be governed.
Ruto is not going anywhere. Ruto is not going anywhere, my brother.
So this is my request to the Gen Zs. And I was here. For me, I'm very genuine with whatever. But I don't like crying to people. I want to tell these Gen Zs, you had a very good agenda. You had started helping Kenya to make progress. But if you continue the way you are continuing, your achievements will be rendered useless. What you are supposed to do right now, there are things you had talked about. You had talked about the finance bill. Right now, they should be saying, after we dropped the finance bill, what is the alternative, or what are we supposed to do? Offer solution. Don't just be part of the problem without coming up with a solution. Number two, what they were supposed now to be fighting with is they agitated that the president may terminate his cabinet. What they were supposed to do is to do the follow-up. Okay, right now you have fired all the cabinet secretaries. This is what we are expecting as Gen Zs, and they do the follow-up. They continue the push that we may have competent people in the office. Are they doing that? They have resulted into another useless thing of Ruto must go, Ruto must go. But you ask them, how will he go? And where will he go? And then what is the alternative? They have no solution. And that is where they're missing the point. They forgot the agenda. And that's why I'm saying, to some extent, I see them as people who are suffering now from lack of focus and particularity. There are things they had already articulated. We want to see ABCD. What they were supposed to do after the president backed down is to follow up to ensure that what they wanted is implemented the way they want. Because Ruto is not in their mind to know exactly how they want things to be done. But he had said, come, let us reason together. You are Kenyans. I am your president. Can we do these things together? Can you tell me the people I should work with to ensure we do them? What else do you expect? And when the president says that, you say you don't want, you want to continue to be on the street. That is nonsense. That's where we are differing. I have no problem with them. But where they are not offering solutions, they are continuing, causing mayhem to the country. That's why I'm saying that we are not together in that.
Hey, patia Kimanzi, sema kitu. I want, before you say anything, Kimanzi, just hold on. I wanted.
Excited because we're hanging out with the one and only Kasmuel.
Let's go.
What's up, bro?
Hey.
Kofisi?
Kabisa, man.
Manze, let me tell you one thing, my brother.
Yeah.
All the interviews I've been watching about you, kwa hizi ma platforms zote, podcasts, mainstream media, unakuanga very sharp, just looking all organized. I'm assuming your thoughts are very organized.
Hopefully, yeah. which is crazy because most of the time it's never the case.
Oh, is it?
I've never been at TCG the most. My thoughts are always all over the place. But I think I think it's a focused world. It makes it absolutely easy to just push the thing because it's one thing you have to focus on. The whole country is focusing on one thing.
But there's a lot that's happening by day. Unajua lately, okay, let me just say from last week, kuna vitu mobs zimekuwa hapa in Kenya. We're talking about cabinet being fired, IG Kome may resign, mwili zilipatikana pale level Kware, Mukuru kwa Njenga. And then, Donald Trump, assassination attempt on his life.
Also,
what else?
The shilingi saba imeongezeka from IPRA.
Exactly. Kuna hiyo. What stood out for you?
Imepanda too. I think in this past week, contrary to popular opinion, the one that stood out for me is this IPRA thing. Because, when we were agitating for Prezo to fire his cabinet and not dissolve. He did it, but he didn't do the thing which we expected him to do, because the unconstitutional position is the position of the prime cabinet secretary. Na hiyo bado imebaki. So that's hella interesting, because I mean, you could fire, but if you're trying to show us that you're adhering to the constitution, it would be much better if you started with that unconstitutional thing. Donald Trump's attempt on his life, that I can't really speak to, because you know, it's neither here or there. Everyone on socials is like this, saying this and that, but the FBI confirmed that was indeed an attempt. And I think it's just proof. You know, like FBI, I don't have a problem, but in my head I'm just like, we can't live in the world where kwa sababu we have differing opinions, I celebrate something bad happening to you. In my head, I just don't think how that's a good thing, you know. And especially if someone uses a gun, hey bro, staged or not, there's a derangement over there where it feels like now we've politicized human lives so badly that you see that story for when bodies were found in Quarry. Maze, I saw a news anchor, and maybe it's just maybe part of the job, how the job works, and this is why we have to kind of decolonize our minds from the shackles of capitalism. Because sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah,
all good.
We have to let ourselves go from the shackles. Yani, we are so beholden to the hustle that it has us on a chokehold that unaweza sema that 6 or however many bodies have been found wrapped in sacks, and then after that you promote whatever you're wearing, bro, and then you say this and other stories. It's gotten to the point where
it's just a story.
It's just a story, bro. These are 6 lives. Watu wamepatikana kwa gunia. At what point? Ama nilikuwa nimelala. At what point in the syllabus was the maze? At what point did this become normal? You know, that's what I've been wondering.
But I mean, think about even that story, Shakahola.
Right.
This thing's been happening.
Alikuwa tuna vibe jo kakishika akasema kitu ni intrigue. Akasema unajua vitu zingine kaizo ukiangalia vile Kware kunaendelea. Hauwezi sema basi Shakahola ni mapasa kwa watu.
Wow, that's actually true.
Right.
Ukishaangalia tu basi vile mambo inaendelea unapata it was the government ambao walikuwa wanafanya shughuli zao na wale tu, akasema jina alikuwa watu wameisahau. Mombasa sio Kenya. Waliendanga wapi? Mimi niko na
so we looked at IG Kome's resignation. So it's basically very timely. Ukiangalia vitu zote zina happen.
Right.
So what do you thought?
But you see a guy like IG, it's again, and it feels like when people listen to us speak, it feels like Gen Z are not being satisfied. But also, I'll also say why I'm really tired about this thing being called a Gen Z revolution, because it's about damn time we just do this thing truly as it is. It's an actual revolution, bro.
Okay.
Because if I say Gen Z, means I'm locking you out.
Of course.
You know, like it's way past the point where we can now just terminate a particular group of people. However, IG Kome's resignation for me is timely, but what are these steps? While now, I think now the strategy, if I were to think about it, would be, yes, well, these heads are rolling. As citizens, we start to litigate. So we file cases again. Because there's also a guy, the culprit who I think, whose head should have rolled first, was a guy called Bungei. The guy who gave the orders, who's in charge of Nairobi at the time. Because if you see those policemen who are shooting at protesters, as peaceful protesters, those guys were not acting irrationally.
Okay.
Those guys were acting in such a surgical manner. Unajua that this one is a person who knows that they are doing the right thing. Yani, they're just following a very particular order. Wanajua tu, sisi mazee hatuwezi ingia ngori kwa sababu these are our marching orders. So yes, his resignation, it comes as a welcome move. It comes as a relief. But then I'm like, a lot of these things, we can't just solve things now by firing people.
So that leads me to my next question. The new resignation is it enough ama anafa kuwa charged?
I mean, if you've had that much blood in your hands, you're supposed to be charged. Because that's a resignation is like a slap on the wrist. Because now you'll get away and you'll just say, okay, fine, I'm not the IG anymore. However, I also do not have the full picture of what's exactly in play, because, you know, when you get to certain levels of seniority, a resignation is just really an over-glorified fire. So we really can't say, some people say he enjoys due security of tenure, he cannot be fired, but all those kinds of things. But the way I've seen Kenya move recently, there's a lot of like political machinations behind kila kitu tu unapata ikona. There's like a sinister mood. Kuna siasa tu pahali imechezwa yenye hatuelewi, because we would have seen more. We would have seen by the time the IG resigns, there should have been this amount of pressure. But you see, imekuwa two young people advocating on social saying, arrest killer cops, arrest these things. DCI guys showing up, giving... DCI wanashika the most random people. Wanapata bangi sijui katikati ya basi yenye unatoka sijui wapi. Wanasema maze, this thing is absolutely illegal. But hawezi shika mse anaua watu.
Na mnajua mali huko.
In my head,
Prezo make your call ya guys ku resign.
To be fair, I can't speculate on what Prezo does or not, because also, yes, I might disagree with him, but the man is a very smart political schemer. You remember also, the first time the Prezo addressed us and called us criminals and treasonous and whatnot. Rigathi also made a parallel speech which talked about like intelligence and what. And so like hearing how government was speaking, you would tell that there could be significant changes around the intelligence and police forces. Yeah.
Do you think we're expecting more manze vile game inaenda sasa ukiangalia system vile imekaa? You especially vile hiyo kiti ya cabinet prime secretary iliachwa. Do you think Gen Z wana sababu zaidi za kutokea tu kwa street?
Absolutely. Hata kama hiyo kiti ingekuwa imetolewa, there's still more reasons. There's still very many reasons to go on the streets, because atuendi kwa streets ati kwa sababu tunachukia a particular person. That's a narrative that I've seen a lot of bloggers try to push. People are trying to make it look like it's Ruto, that we hate this man. We hate the things that he stands for. We hate the things that his government is perpetrating. It's not a tribal thing. You see, when you say, for example, and allow me to take a detour, you can't say ati kwa sababu ati fire all PSs and fire all heads of parastatals, that's an attack on one community. A lot of people have been trying to make it look very tribal, but if you look at it, if you zoom out, let's say like heads of parastatals, out of maybe over 200 parastatals, only about 80 or 81 are like have a profit and loss statement. So those are the ones which are maybe in the business of generating revenue. Ukiangalia out of these 80, not even out of the total, because unapata 40 or 41 come from a particular community. Don't have a problem with you coming from a particular community, but if you think about it, ukiangalia 40 out of 3 so inakaa fair, but 41 out of 80 inamaanisha one community has 50% of where we make profits and losses is headed by that kind. And then where they're not heading, unapata they're the head of supply chain management and procurement or HR, that kind of thing. So we still have reasons with heads rolling, and the thing which these heads rolling represent inakuonyesha tu that your change is possible. Me, that's what I used to say. I'm telling anyone, hey bro, our war is still very far from over, because we are fighting one, corruption. The amount of money we lose on corruption alone can sort out all the problems, bro. You guys see, I don't know if anyone else likes seeing kids hungry. Me, that's a thing that gets me pissed off, because I was hungry as a toy. Unaenda shule na uniform zimeraruka. Sisi tuko hapa unakalia like nini chairs. Kuna watoi bado wana share desks, bro. Bro. Desks zimevunjika sijui wapi, na governors wana drive sijui nini. Those kinds of things. Yes. Corruption, austerity. Austerity ni hiyo kitu yenye
utaduni.
Utaduni, but unaambia nanga even as my youth. Ukiona beshte yako uko like, wewe huwezi afford hiyo maisha. Una much, but unataka kuwa na the best phone, kuishi kwa the biggest house which costs so much.
Mama msupa.
But Prezo come about na certain austerity measures. Do you think that's enough? Ile story alibana amesema Harambee hataki kuzicheki. Amesema there's no funding for the, of course, office of the first lady, second lady, spouse to the prime cabinet secretary. Is that a step in the right direction?
It is, but sijana alikuwa Harambee. Sasa unacheki hizo ndio vitu zingine zinafanya. Sometimes I cannot trust the political class, because again, even going back to like this IPRA thing, see, a whole communique was issued on, was it 7th or 8th? Wakasema due to what the Kenyans have said, and tukafanya public participation, tukasema tunataka hii, tutaki hii, and we agreed for this particular levy to not levy it on us. See, wame announce that imeongezeka by 7 bob. So I feel like a lot of it feels like talk.
Interesting. So what do you think about vile Prezo amesema, his next cabinet will represent the face of Kenya, and what msaidia kufanya Wakenya kazi, they're actually going to help him implement some of the promises he made to young Kenyans. Do you believe him?
Again, this is personal opinion. If he says so, until I see the list that he presents, I can't believe inaweza kwa tu taxi na hata mimi cheki wase nikikuwa preso mazee mimi ndapeleka Kenya mbe until nikuwe preso hautawaijua.
Unajua tumefika ile point yenye sisi wa Kenya, anything that the president says watu wanaona kwa news wanasema damn
tumepanga tumeweka mikakati
tumeongea.
And the way I look at it, the way I look at it, it's not so much about what he says, but how he says it, and where I feel where his heart is. Because a lot of the time when we started this thing, wasa walikuwa nadharau. Ilikuwa na katu zile vitu zenye Wakenya wao wanafanya, sio you're tweeting or mmekasirika, and then now you go, and then people hit the streets, and then people breach parliament, and nini
na kasema nakula pilau
sasa unacheki wase waka change vitu, and it's gotten to the point where it just feels like even we do not know what it is. The powers that be, unacheki, whenever you see politicians uniting, bro, I think something is deeply wrong. Because these guys thrive on ensuring mimi na wewe hatuoni eye to eye.
So that's a crazy point you just made over there. Whenever you see politicians uniting, something ain't right.
I
want to touch on that in a bit, but let's go back to the police.
Right.
Ukicheki vile hizi ma-protests zilikuwa. By the way, I'm from Kisumu. Na nime-engage kwa ma-protests kadhaa. Bras na kwanga brutal.
Me too.
But whatever I saw in Nairobi was different, man. Wase kwenda parliament, looting ilikuwanga crazy, and then of course we started seeing live bullets being fired, abductions, nini. I mean, if you're talking about protests getting to those levels, so how do you expect police to react? How would you expect police to deal with civilians? Wakianza kuona watu wana threaten kwenda hadi State House. It's a very peculiar situation to be in as a police officer.
It's very true, but I expect them to react in a disciplined way. Unajua,
which is how?
So I'll explain. When we were out protesting, remember, it's very important for us to remind the general public that we are protesters, not rioters.
It's our right to protest.
Yes. And a lot of the time, people try to make it look like we are rioters. Because rioters ndio hawa wase wenye wanakuanga unlawful, rowdy.
But say waga. They always just turn up. There's always going to be those people.
Absolutely. But to be fair, you can very well identify a rioter, and you can identify a protester. Even with the events of the day that people breached parliament, that could have been handled way better. Police are supposed to behave like this. This is why I'm in my head, I will not fault the citizenry. If a cop should only use enough force to prevent damage, a cop's force should not be provocative. It should be defensive. And it, like, hafai hata kuwa anatembea na baton, hawafai kuwa wanatembea na weapon.
Mburu bana, unalala?
Umetuletea kitu mrefu hapo.
Kuna mali huyu Gen Z amekujibu vizuri sana, why they are leaderless and they are faceless. Ameulizwa why
kitu amejibu.
Sikuwa nimefikia, but amejibu vizuri sana. But that young man has been making a lot of trends on social platform, and I hope he answered you the difference between a protester and a rioter. That part I wanted you to get very clearly.
You see,
I am not ignorant. Kijana ukimwangalia hivi anaweza choma gari.
I am not ignorant of the difference between a protester and a rioter, but what we have been seeing is not protesters. We have been seeing rioters. So, and that is where there is a disconnect. If they want us to take them seriously, as they want to appear as gentle as he is, they must distance themselves from hooliganism, from mayhem. They must distance themselves from violence. But now they come out, they go out there, they cause mayhem, they cause pain to people's business, they burn people's cars, they burn government buildings, and they take credit. But afterwards, when they come out, they say, it is not us. How can we trust them? What are the mechanisms they have put to ensure that we can distinguish between a genuine Gen Z who is peaceful and those thugs that are causing pain to the public? Mzalendo, you own a car, and maybe you have ever taken a loan to acquire a car. Then somebody the following day just comes and just put your car into ashes. How does it feel without knowing the process you have undergone to own that car? Some of these Gen Zs or whoever they are, because they are leaderless, they are formless and so many things, they have never constructed, some of them, in a building and know how painful it is for you to elect a structure until it is complete. Then somebody goes, like I saw how they vandalized the Sudis business and just put it down, and they don't care, lose a lot of money without caring that there are people who are employed in those premises. We have no problem. Whatever you're saying is good. We want good governance. We want fairness. We want all Kenyans to get equal opportunity. We want all those things to happen, not just Gen Zs. They should not forget that it's also our country. So when we say we are not happy with some of the things that are happening, they should also try to address our concerns. They should also shun the unconstitutional means of making things happen. When I hear them saying we are going to salimia watu, that if I differ with them in the views and my sentiments, if they're different from theirs, then they feel because they are many, they should come and attack me or instill fear on me. They are not different from the politicians that we have. Those are crooked ways of doing things. Those are backward ways of doing things. Those are, we are not expecting them from Gen Zs, because we are hoping that Gen Zs are intellectuals who should use the power of persuasion and knowledge and intellect to convince people on how we can have good governance, not to instill fear. If they cannot be in a position to persuade Kenyans and the leaders to do the right thing, then they have no business of protesting. So hii mambo ya kusema tunaenda kusalimia watu, they must shun those things, because they are not different from the police who are killing them, from the politicians who are hooligans. Then they are part of the problem of the country. And that is where I'm having the problem. Let them do things differently. We are used to mayhem. We are used to violence. We are used to conflict. We are used to fights. We want people who can now use the power of intellect, people who can use their knowledge to bring change, persuasion, discussion, But what they are doing, I don't see anything different. Then they should always be having the bigger picture of what they want to achieve and how to achieve it. If it is just demonstration after demonstration, they are not going to achieve anything. What is happening, and you see it in Mzalendo, because it's good to look at where things are heading. Very soon, you will see a serious confrontation between the government and our young people, which will be a very serious confrontation, because these people, the government was trying to do everything possible to have a discussion with them. They have said no. To have a conversation, a deep conversation on how do we implement the things you want us to implement. They have said no. Now it is not just about the finance bill. It is not about the reorganization of the leadership. It is about even the president going. But they're not telling us how and when and what is the end plan. So what will happen? The government is going to reach a point where it will have now to stamp its authority, because that is why the government is elected, to govern people and their conduct. So if they don't stir up, we are going to lose more people. We are going to have more problems. Already right now, the tourists have left the country. There is no any serious investor who will come and bring any serious investment in Kenya, because hatuna kiwago. We have no limit on how we are doing things. So people in Kenya, people have always been afraid of our country, because we are perceived as a country which is not politically stable. Kenya is a great country. We would be very far, but we result into solving our problems violently. And that is where I have the problem. That is the difference between Western countries and our African countries. We don't understand any other language. The language we understand is the language of war and confrontation. It has been that way from independence until now. When shall we change and say, can we now have a serious conversation? Not of a conversation of fight, a conversation of where are we? Like now, how they had started. How can we do things better? Like now, how they were challenging the president. If they can remove the language, because I also joined to listen to how they were talking. If they can remove the obscene words they were using, if they can remove some of the language they were using against the president and the leaders, they become civil, they become gentle. If the president has humbled himself and has come down to your level and has said, okay, tell me, what are your problems? Is that the opportunity kuanza kuita president where umbwa sijui nini? I mean, surely. For me, I support, we need change. And we have been talking about it here. And we need serious change. But this change cannot be realized within 1 week or 2 weeks. And in fact, I'm not saying they should stop demonstrations. What I'm saying, can they save our country from violence? Can they stop the confrontation with the police? Can they also, because they also have the power, because they are the majority, they have the power to stop those who are destroying our buildings. Huduma Center is for the wananchi, it's not for Ruto. Those police officers are for us, for the citizens, not for the government. They are there, they are sent there, out there for a reason. It is to protect even them. So when Kenyans see police officers, they see their enemies. It is the high time that we should bring now the understanding between the police and the common mwananchi. That when you see the police officer, you don't think, oh, he has come so that we can fight. You know, that is where we are having the problem. So I just want to say this. This Gen Zs is a generation that is educated, well-versed with the technology. Let them show the country how to do things differently. Let them not continue behaving like we are used to, because I have seen people starting, the business people, they are saying, oh, we are going to protect our business. And they go to their shops with crude weapons waiting for them. Is that what we want? Because they are expecting that when these Gen Zs will have demonstrations, they will come, they are coming to root our businesses. So can they do things differently? And they will receive the support of the entire Kenya. Now, Munamuita Samuel, if he is the leader, he should not be afraid to say, I'm the leader. Atoke aseme, I'm the leader. Right now, I don't know, he's talking like who?
You're done?
I'm done.
Kimanzi, can you say a word before I wind up?
Yeah, I have even heard what Buru is saying, and I can see Gibbs Icona saying, yeah, Buru has convinced Leo TV, Boniface, and me. Now we're waiting to see Mzalendo. So we are waiting to see Mzalendo, you being converted by Buru, so that you can agree with what he's saying. I've seen the boy talking. Actually, this morning, that boy was in K24 TV, and he was asked why he has not declared himself as a leader. So he said that he is still waiting to be given that authority by the Gen Z. Again, he has been talking more about the current reign of William Ruto, that they are not agreeing with what Ruto's government is doing. That Ruto even did Ari while he was choosing the first bunch of the cabinet. They are not agreeing with it. And I've also said, he has also said that they are trying to occupy tomorrow the JKIA. So I don't know what is the plan for tomorrow. He's saying that they want to occupy the JKIA. I know the JKIA is a protected area. There we have the GSU that is around there. So I don't know what is the plan for tomorrow. But anyway, the Gen Z should get a leader, and they should just appoint someone who is going to talk to the president and also to the top leaders, because they cannot just continue moving as a crowd. you need to have someone who is going to talk to top leaders, because president cannot address 1,000 people. How now? So I think the boy is still talking more about the rain. He has the idea on what government is doing. So I think he should also watch the kind of words he is saying about the government, because you cannot just be a non-person and just come out and start talking opposite about the government, start trying to criticize the government. You should be keen, you know. The government has the powers to even outrule you. So I think the Gen Z should get a leader and take that precaution as well, because looting properties, going to the streets. So I don't know, why are they going to the GKA tomorrow? That is my question that I'm asking. Are they going to attack the people who are coming from away outside the Kenya?
They just want to provoke the government. Then when they are disciplined, they start crying innocence. Oh, we were innocent. The Constitution does not allow you with your protest to infringe on my rights. Those travelers who are going to other countries, they have nothing to do with the protest. And don't think because you are having those and that grievance that all people feel the same. Some of those people are outsiders, people from different countries. Why are you disturbing them? What are you telling them? You are telling them that Kenya is not stable. You should not come here. So are you helping? Are you solving the problems? Or you are putting Kenya in a more awkward situation? And that is why I'm telling the president, Mr. President, we are supporting you 100%. Do whatever you can to bring order in the country, because that is why we elect the government. People will say, oh, he is not, he is looking for standoff. The president is not someone who should always do everything that everyone wants. He is someone who is there to protect the Constitution. It is the work of the president to protect the properties of people. It is the work of the president to protect those people who have nothing to do with the protests. It is the work of the president to ensure that if I want to move from point A to B, I can move without disturbance. It is the work of the president to ensure those people who are barricading and burning roads. Do you know, under the Constitution, someone who is destroying the infrastructure is supposed to be, according to the law of Kenya, you are supposed to be prosecuted by hanging. In fact, it's only that our presidents have been so lenient. You heard the other day when people were uprooting railway, President Uhuru Kenyatta said, if you people you do that again, I will sign that we do what the law says. Yani hatuwezi tumia taxes tunajenga railway ama barabara na wewe unachukua tires unaenda kuchoma hiyo barabara. Unachukua, tumeona watu waking'oa mpaka vikingi za stima. Tunajenga huduma center tukijua ni ya kuhudumia wananchi, unaenda unaiharibu. The Constitution inasema ya kwamba wewe hustahili kuishi. That is the Constitution. Infrastructure.
All right. Mburu.
Are Kenyans aware of that? They are not.
All right. Thank you, Mburu and Kimanzi. Thank you for being here this evening. It is morning. It is 5:20 a.m. Here in Virginia. In Mburu's time, it is about 4:20 a.m. Now, as we wrap up the protest show on Afrique, I want us to conclude on a very high note to recognize the achievements of this particular movement. So the protests driven by these young generations have given a powerful message and a catalyst to a lot of changes that have happened in the government, and things will not be the same again. That is the positive that have come from this movement. And the impact in the Kenyan politics. The protests have not only amplified the voices of this young generation, but also shifted the dynamics of Kenyan politics. The new wave of activism as the new wave of that activism and the normal traditions of Amburu style of politics is no longer going to be the norm in Kenya. Politics is going to be involving almost all the generations, especially the Generation Z. They are resilient, they are brave, and they have shown us that they can put the government into check. So the reason why people are saying they want to remove Ruto from power, I don't think that that was part of the agenda. We have heard many of them saying that was not really part of the agenda. But the millennials joining Gen Zs, the movement keeps on metamorphosizing into something else. Yes, you are going to demonstrate tomorrow as young people. Don't vandalize property, don't rob anybody. Just demonstrate peacefully, agitate as much as you want, but don't destroy any infrastructure built by the taxpayers, and also don't infringe on other people's rights. People, if they want to open their shops, let them open. But also, if you know you're opening your shop, the police should give you adequate protection, because some of these demonstrations have got thieves who have come to take advantage of the situation. Now, viewers, we come to an end of our freak until this evening. You will be joined by Kimanzi and Leo on our evening political show, just to recap on what is happening in the field of politics in Kenya. We have touched on American politics earlier on with Mburu, and we wish Kamala Harris all the best in our quest to be the Democratic nominee for the presidential election. Until tomorrow, or today in the evening, let's say today in the evening, I want to say goodbye to Goodyear or Gypsy Corner, who has been very, very instrumental in the on the comment session. Asante sana Gypsy Corner for keeping us company and giving us the right questions to ask. And if Mburu has convinced you that you need to join the government side, then that is a plus. Let us keep on talking so that we have a stable country. We don't want anarchy in our country. All we are saying is that the counties are being looted, and a lot of money is being poured in the county. In this financial bill, William Ruto was going to give the county 400 billion, yet they cannot account for the billions that they are being given. They live lavishly. We are being shown the kind of houses that they are living in, and this is our tax money. So let us be on the watch out. If you see Mburu's lifestyle has changed, or Kimanzi lifestyle has changed because they are working in the county, know that that is your money. If you see my stomach protruding and I'm working in the county government, and know that I have stolen some money. Otherwise, thank you very much for being part of Africa, and see you later this evening.
Zalendo,
Yes. What do you
I'll
want?
tell them that today we are still in the evening. We have a show again for preparation of Paris Olympics. We have now 4 days to Paris Olympics that are happening in France. So they should be aware that we are waiting to see what is happening in Paris Olympics. We are supporting Ferdinand Omanyala, Judith Chebet, Mary Mora. We have some of the gold medals that we are waiting to see from the France team that has went there. Of course, the principal secretary for the Ministry of Sports, Peter Tum, has headed to Paris. We have the president of the NOC, that is the National Athletics Committee of Kenya, Paul Tergat is still there. So we are waiting to see what is happening. So today we have a show for the Dimba, but we are going to analyze more about the Paris Olympics that are happening in France, in the city of Miramas. So they should be aware.
All right, stay tuned for Kimanzi Dimba La Afrique analyzing the Paris Olympics here on Afrique 24. So there's a lot of activities happening in Afrique this evening. So be tuned on Afrique. Don't dial that button and go to another channel. Be here and witness the Olympics as analyzed by our one and only Mr. Kimanzi. Otherwise, thank you very much and adios.
Kazini, ila siku tuwe na shukrani.